Chapter 45-51. The six of them attacked. Terrifying laws and vast heaven and earth charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian formed a seal with both hands. In the sky, the primordial demon mountain descended. Heaven and earth kept shaking as if it was going to suppress everything. Boom. This mountain was really too terrifying. It was as if it had crossed through time and space. The laws between heaven and earth kept shattering. The pupils of the six figures also shrank. Damn it, retreat quickly. They retreated one after another. The power of this mountain was beyond their imagination. Kill. As they retreated, they attacked again. Lin Xian waved his fist and fought with them, causing their arms to go numb. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had already collided. Then, Lin Xian stood on the primordial demon mountain and looked down at the surroundings. The six people around him retreated with pale faces. Their faces were full of shock. The power displayed by the other party was too strong, so strong that it was beyond their imagination. For a moment, they did not dare to make a move rashly. They even suspected that Lin Xian was really lucky to escape from the attacks of the three of them. Was it not because he used other secret techniques? The surrounding people were stunned when they saw this scene. This guy was really strong, and he was too bold. The Xiantian pavilion also held their breaths. Swordsman Wu's face was pale and extremely nervous. Jian Shursen also said, "I'm afraid I've seen a scene that I haven't seen in 1,000 years." Next, there would be an earth-shattering battle. Everyone was looking forward to it. He wondered if Lin Xian would be able to withstand it. However, what was surprising was that there was no battle. The six figures fell silent. They turned their heads and seemed to be deliberately avoiding Lin Xian. On the primordial demon mountain, Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. It seemed that these people were afraid when facing him. Thinking of this, he sneered. Those who were timid in their hearts were not worthy of being his opponent. He turned around and soared into the sky, continuing to fly forward. The situation here surprised everyone. They did not expect that the six experts would not dare to make a move even after joining forces. Could it be that they were not confident in their hearts? When the great saints who were watching the battle saw this, their eyes lit up as well. The elders of the mysterious sky pavilion smiled. Great, they were very satisfied with what they had found this time. It was beyond their expectations. The Lotus ancestor nodded in satisfaction. The young disciples of the Xiantian pavilion were shocked. Their old ancestor was a great sage. There were very few people who could satisfy their old ancestor. At least, they hadn't seen it yet. The experts of the Eternal River Sect and Frostfeather Palace looked extremely gloomy. Their great sage snorted coldly. At present, it seemed to be doing well, but whether or not it could continue to grow was still unknown. Only a genius who matured would be a true peerless genius. Evidently, they were very displeased with such a scene. Inside the ancient land, Lin Xian escaped the siege of the six experts and continued to rush forward. He was getting closer and closer to the central area. At this point, he had surpassed most of the people. The people in front of him were getting fewer and fewer. Finally, only a few people were left. Lin Xian knew one of them. It was Lung Feng. The other few were unfamiliar. They were experts from other sections. However, their auras were extremely terrifying. The few figures in front turned their heads as well. They looked at Lin Xian with a look of surprise in their eyes. They did not expect that Lin Xian was qualified to come here. Lung Feng was also surprised. He had also seen the previous scene. The six experts did not dare to make a move. One could imagine how invincible Lin Xian was at that moment. This guy was beyond his imagination. He was indeed qualified to come here. Now he had recognized Lin Xian's strength. Moreover, Lin Xian belonged to their camp. He could help him fight against the other experts. Buzz. After Lin Xian arrived, another ear-piercing sound rang out from behind them. Everyone was even more surprised. Who else could come? They turned their heads and found that it was an expert from the Battle King Peak. He was also very young. His strength and physique were very strong. The fact that he could come here was enough to prove it. Interesting. An expert from the Long River Sect smiled. He did not expect a dark horse to appear this time. Unfortunately, you came at the wrong time. You met me. I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to continue. A woman from the Ice Feather Palace said coldly. She said that there were too many people. She had to get rid of a few. As soon as she said that, their faces changed. Many people's eyes fell on Lin Xian. At the same time, the young man who came later also received attention. The two of them were young newcomers. It was not easy for them to come here. Who should they get rid of first? Only these two people, right? If you want to get rid of them, you can try. Leng Feng walked out. His body was emitting a terrifying saber light. Do you think you can touch the people of the Xiantian Pavilion just because you want to? Leng Feng. Do you think that no one can suppress you? The expert from the Long River sect walked out. His name was Chongqing. His aura was abnormally terrifying. Today, I would like to see if your saber technique is as powerful as the legends say. The aura between the two of them was getting colder and colder. At this time Lin Xian also spoke. You wanted to kill me before. You want to get rid of me? Let's see if you have the right to do so. Hearing that, the surrounding people were shocked. In their opinion, it was normal for Leng Feng and Chongqing to confront each other. After all, both of them were top experts and belonged to different sections. Neither of them was willing to submit to the other. Lin Xian walked out. They felt that he was overestimating himself. No matter how strong this guy was, could he be stronger than Leng Feng? Could he compete with Chongqing? Sure enough, Chongqing sneered. You're courting death. You're not qualified to be my opponent. Whether you're qualified or not, you'll know once you try. You released your killing intent to me before. Today, no matter what, I won't let you go. Lin Xian walked out. His body was emitting a terrifying killing intent. Leng Feng also frowned. Junior brother Lin, let me deal with this person. He knew how terrifying Chongqing was. Lin Xian looked at Leng Feng and smiled. Don't worry. He doesn't need senior brother Leng's help. I can deal with him. Bing Wei and the others were stunned. They couldn't believe it. Chongqing was also stunned. After a while he looked up to the sky and laughed. His voice was cold. Leng Feng, I didn't expect an arrogant guy to come out of Xiantian Pavilion. Since he wants to die, I'll fulfill his wish. The people outside were in an uproar. They didn't expect Lin Xian to dare to challenge Chongqing. In their opinion, it was too difficult. Leng Feng was probably the only one who could compete with Chongqing. Isn't this guy too reckless? Sword Dance and the others were worried for Lin Xian. Those from Eternal River sect sneered. They didn't know what was good for them. The great sage sneered. Sure enough, only those who survived were true geniuses. Some geniuses were probably going to fall now. They believed that Chongqing could easily kill Leng Feng. Chapter 45-52. Ignorant brat, let me deal with you personally. It will be your honor. Chongqing walked out. As he walked out, 3,000 Daos surged under his feet, looking like 3,000 great Daos. This number was extraordinary. The law energy in Chongqing's body surged continuously. He was almost a late-stage holy venerate. This fellow was even stronger than before. Leng Feng frowned. Even if Leng Feng wanted to make a move, it would be a bitter battle. Leng Feng was only 50% confident of defeating Chongqing. If he let Lin Xian make a move now, how confident would he be? Probably less than 50%. This fellow hid his strength earlier. Bing Wei's lips curled up in a smile. It looked like there was no more suspense in this battle. 3,000 Long River. Peak cultivation. Chongqing was indeed a powerful expert. The people outside exclaimed. The Long River sect's people smiled coldly as they looked at the Profound Heaven Pavilion. The Profound Heaven Pavilion's people also frowned heavily. Sword Dance. They were extremely anxious. Elder, send a voice projection to young Master Lin. Don't let him fight. That's right. The Long River sect will definitely kill him. If he loses, young Master Lin might die. The other elders also looked over. However, Jian Wuk took a deep breath. Very soon, you will see that his strength is far beyond your imagination. Jian Wuk did not say anything else. Instead, he looked forward to it. Just wait. Wait for Lin Xian to show off his brilliance. Lin Xian felt the terrifying law energy from Chongqing and nodded slightly. Chongqing was indeed very strong. He was much stronger than the others that Lin Xian had seen. He was still not a match for Lin Xian. Chongqing's serious expression attracted the mockery of the surrounding people. Bingwei shook her head and smiled coldly. This fellow did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Making a move now was not a wise choice. Indeed, when Chongqing heard that, his expression turned completely cold. The killing intent in his eyes materialized into a sword that pierced through the sky. Foolish ant. Soon, you will not be able to be arrogant anymore. The sword formed by Chongqing's gaze directly flew out. Terrifying laws surrounded it as it pierced through the sky. Even a middle-stage holy king would not be able to block this attack. They would be torn to shreds. Countless people exclaimed, "Quickly dodge." They were hoping that Lin Xian would be fast enough to dodge this attack. However, Lin Xian did not dodge at all. Instead, he extended a hand and grabbed forward. What an idiot! Many people sneered. Could it be that Yi Futian really thought that he had the strength to contend against Chongqing? Boom! An earth-shattering sound erupted between heaven and earth. Countless cracks spread out in all directions with the two of them as the center. Everyone thought that Lin Xian would have ceased to exist under that attack, or that he would have been torn apart. It's over. Bingwei shook her head. The other experts also sighed. They were too weak. Lung Feng's face was cold. He pulled out the long saber on his back and was ready to attack. Suddenly he froze. No way. Lung Feng's face was filled with shock. The smiles on the faces of the others also disappeared. They saw a golden palm reach out from the cracks that filled the sky. It shone with boundless radiance, completely unharmed. The sharp arrow was caught by the golden hand like a fish, unable to escape at all. I already said that you are not strong enough to be arrogant in front of me. Lin Xian's voice rang out. He exerted force in his palm, and the sharp arrow shattered into pieces, falling from his fingers. This guy actually managed to block it. Has his physique already reached such a level? Countless people exclaimed. The experts of the Eternal River sect could not believe it. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion also exclaimed. Elder Golden Light's face was filled with shock. He looked at Jian Wuck and asked, "Could this guy have the legendary physique of the universe?" The difference in cultivation between the two of them was too great. Other than the immemorial imperial physique, only the legendary physiques could block it. However, he did not know which physique Yi Futian was. Jian Wuck smiled. That's right, it is indeed the legendary physique. As for the specifics, you will know when you continue watching. Elder Golden Light was very unhappy that you were still keeping us in suspense. However, he was also filled with anticipation. He did not know what kind of power this little guy would display next. What? Is this your strength? I don't deserve to be arrogant. Lin Xian looked forward and smiled faintly. Chongqing's face was ashen. He gritted his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. He could not believe that Yi Futian was qualified to block his attack. The laws all over his body bloomed with a dazzling light. He took a step forward and shouted coldly, "Good kid, so you have also hidden your strength and cultivated a powerful body refinement technique. However, so what if you have cultivated the Zhang 6 golden body? You are still not my match." The 3,000-long river seemed to have come alive as it rushed over. It was too terrifying. Everyone exclaimed in shock. Once again, they were worried for Lin Xian. Lin Xian was not afraid. He stretched out his palm and divine flames surged into the sky, forming a golden crow that swept in all directions. Boom, boom, boom. He punched out and collided with the 3,000-long river. A terrifying power surged. The battle was extremely intense. He blocked it. He really blocked it. The Zhang 6 Golden Body Elder was extremely excited. He looked at Lin Xian as if he was looking at a treasure. Yi Futian's physique was really too strong. It surprised him. Chongqing's face was cold. Yi Futian was actually able to contend with him and not be at a disadvantage. 3,000 as one. Suddenly he let out a roar. His biting cold voice spread out in all directions. The 3,000-long river quickly merged, forming a long river that was eternal and unique. Accompanying it was an extremely terrifying power of laws that seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword, causing countless people to be terrified. Slash. The long river descended from the sky and destroyed everything. Its aura made one's hair stand on end. Countless people were terrified. It was too powerful. This was the ultimate technique of the Long River sect. When Chongqing used it, it was truly terrifying to the extreme. Lin Xian naturally felt a sense of danger. It was very powerful, but so what? He roared, and the smile on his face disappeared. The nine-yang divine body was completely released as he punched out. It was as if a sun was rampaging between heaven and earth, charging forward. A dazzling light illuminated the entire ancient land. No one could open their eyes. Elder Golden Light's pupils constricted. What a terrifying power. It was like the light of the sun. Could it be the legendary nine-yang divine body? Boom, boom, boom. The power shook the heavens. With a punch, everything was destroyed. The only Long River was sent flying, and it was covered with cracks. A vast sea swept across the sky. Chongqing was also sent flying. Heavens, what a terrifying power. Was he really just an early-stage Saint King? What kind of physique was that? How could it be so terrifying? The spectators were in an uproar, their voices shaking the nine heavens. The experts of the Long River sect also did not dare to believe it. They were very confident in Chongqing's strength. How could he be sent flying? Chapter 45-53. The Divine Body of Nine Yang. It was said to be an extremely strong body. Who would have thought that it would appear now? Hearing the great sage's words, the surrounding people were in an uproar. No wonder this kid was so strong. He had a super strong body. Many envious voices sounded. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion were also very surprised. With such a body, his future was limitless. In the ancient land, Chongqing's expression became very ugly. Bingwei also said, "Be careful. This guy's body is very unusual. It might be the legendary divine body." Divine body? Chongqing's eyes shone fiercely. So what? Kid, if you were at the same level as me, I would turn around and run. Unfortunately, you just entered the Saint King realm. And I'm about to enter the late stage of the Saint King realm. Even if you have a divine body, I will suppress you today. The palm continued to close in, and the single river once again transformed into 3,000 rivers that circled around him and fused with him. Just like the first battle armor class. Not only that, but his power was also unparalleled. Although I don't have the Taigu Imperial body and my body is not as strong as your divine body, my attainments in the Great Path are not something you can imagine. Now I'll let you feel my divine powers. Terrifying power spread out in all directions. It was indeed much stronger than before. Countless people were amazed. The people of the Long River sect also laughed. Chongqing's divine powers and profound meanings were rare. It could definitely make up for the difference in physique. More importantly, his cultivation level was much higher than his opponents. So it was not certain who would win this battle. The 3,000 rivers are all under my control. What do you have to fight me? As his voice fell, Chongqing waved his palm again. Terrifying power surged and instantly formed a cage, trapping Lin Xian. Lin Xian struck out with a terrifying fist. He turned into a golden crow and fought back. Useless kid, Chongqing snorted. He also used his trump card. Lin Xian was definitely not his match. As the long rivers surged, the sky and the earth cracked, causing the spectators to continuously retreat. Even Lung Feng was shocked. Lin Xian still had such a secret technique? This was truly beyond his expectations. Man Ruler Seal. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He formed a seal with his palm, and the Human King Descend struck out, shattering the opponent's attack. Chongqing roared. His 3,000 clones returned to the immortal country. 3,000 phantoms ran between the heavens and the earth, connecting with each other. Each of the phantoms formed a seal with a vast surging power, sounding like the sound of the heavens. It was as if a celestial kingdom had descended from the sky. Lin Xian frowned slightly. The other party's divine abilities and laws were indeed very strong. However, it was time to end this round. The primordial demonic mountain descended from the sky, colliding with the celestial empire. The man-ruler seal swept through the 3,000 doppelgangers. His divine body was pushed to the extreme, and both sides fought fiercely. Boom. Boom. After an intense collision, Lin Xian retreated. His face was pale, but his eyes were even sharper. On the other side, the 3,000 doppelgangers split apart. Changqing's body fell from the sky and was suppressed by the immemorial demonic mountain. The laws of divine abilities were indeed very strong, but that was all there was to it. Lin Xian stood on the primordial devil mountain and looked down. Changqing was actually defeated. The spectators outside were stunned. The people of the Eternal River sect couldn't believe it. Damn it! Was the power of the divine body so strong? This was only the early stage of the Saint King realm. If he reached the late stage of the Saint King realm, how terrifying would he be? They didn't dare to imagine. A great sage sighed and looked at Frostfeather Hall. Then he said, "It's already the end. Let's do it." The old woman of Frostfeather Hall nodded. Then she formed a seal with her palm and transmitted a sound. Inside, Bingwei received the news. She took a deep breath, and a cold light flashed in her eyes. She struck out with her palm. An icy wind flew out and danced in the sky, attacking Lin Xian. Lin Xian's divine fire turned into a golden crow and fought against it. In the end, he flew down from the primordial demonic mountain and attacked Bingwei. Changqing used the 3,000-long river to blast open the primordial demonic mountain. Damn it! As soon as he came out, he roared to the sky and spat out a mouthful of blood. It was too embarrassing. He was defeated by a newcomer in front of tens of thousands of strong cultivators. It was really shameful. He said, "Let's work together. This is already the final moment. Clean up all the people of Xiantian Pavilion. Next, this ancient land will be ours." That's right. Bingwei also walked out. The ice emitted from her body made her look like a god of ice. It seemed that the final battle was about to begin. Countless people were surprised. Lung Feng stood out. "Do you think our Xiantian Pavilion is afraid of you?" Lin Xian was stronger than Changqing, so it wouldn't be a problem for him to deal with Bingwei. They still had the advantage. But soon their advantage was gone. After Changqing and Bingwei, another man walked out. This person also had a terrifying cold aura surrounding him. It was someone from Frostfeather Hall again. His name was Hanyu. He was also a very terrifying expert of the generation. 3 against 2. It would be dangerous. Many people exclaimed. The people of Xiantian Pavilion also frowned. In this way, they would be suppressed, but they might still have a chance. Even if they couldn't win, they could still escape unscathed. With just you guys? I'm not afraid even if there's one more person. Lung Feng roared angrily, and the saber light around him was biting cold. It was time to go all out. Changqing sneered. Why do you think it's 2 against 3? Are you very confident? How naive. Do you think our Long River sect only has this little trump card this time? If there's one more person, can you still resist? Is there anyone else? The surrounding people were all stunned. Are there any more experts in the Long River sect? The people of Xiantian Pavilion frowned and looked at the Long River sect. What are you doing? Are you bluffing? The elder of the Long River sect sneered. You'll find out soon. This time, everyone from Xiantian Pavilion will be eliminated. No one will be able to enter. As soon as he finished speaking, the stalwart man who had been silent all this time walked out from the ancient land. He was an expert from Battle King Peak. Like a god of war, he had been watching the battle silently. At this moment he moved. He walked forward and stood next to Changqing. What? Countless people were in an uproar. They were dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. Battle King Peak had also joined forces with the Long River sect? What was going on? 4 experts against 2. This was a complete suppression. It's over. This time Xiantian Pavilion is really finished. These 4 experts, in addition to Battle King Feng's dark horse, were equivalent to 5 against 2. It could be said that the pressure was very great. Lin Xian's side was in danger. Damn it! When did you make a move? The elder of Xiantian Pavilion roared. Jian Wuk also frowned. Their information only said that Frostfeather Hall had joined forces with the other party. Chapter 45-54. The surrounding people were stunned. The 3 overlords were actually working together to deal with Xiantian Pavilion. Xiantian Pavilion would definitely lose this time. In the ancient land, Xiantian Pavilion only had Lin Xian and Lung Feng. No matter how the 2 of them fought against the 5 of them, they had no chance of winning. Thinking of the situation that Lin Xian and the rest were about to face, They all felt their blood boiling. Many people felt their scalps go numb. So this is their true trump card. Jian Wuk frowned. Jian Wu, Jian Shisan and the rest were completely stunned. They felt despair. In the ancient land, the man from Zhanwang Peak was called Feng Zhan. He said loudly, "Lung Feng, take your men and leave. Otherwise, you will end up in a miserable state." Lung Feng also said, "I didn't expect you to work with them. Where's your pride?" The people from Zhanwang Peak were extremely arrogant and disdained to work with others. Hence, Lung Feng didn't expect such a situation. Feng Zhan shook his head. "Nothing is absolute in this world. They gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse. All right, I can let Lung Feng go. As for this brat, I want him dead." Chongqing stared at Lin Xian with killing intent in his eyes. He had lost to Lin Xian in front of everyone. He couldn't accept it. He had to kill Lin Xian to prove himself. Lung Feng's expression changed. "Damn it, how dare you? Aren't you afraid that Xiantian Pavilion will attack you? One must know that defeating and killing were two different concepts. Lung Feng, get lost. Otherwise I'll kill you too." Chongqing roared, his eyes filled with terrifying killing intent. "You want to kill me? With just you? Is this your final trump card? What a joke, I thought it was a powerful trump card." Lin Xian's laughter resounded in the area. The surrounding people were stunned. "Is this madness before death? I think this brat has gone crazy from despair." "That's right. If such a lineup isn't desperate, what kind of trump card does he have? This is a scene of certain death. You're still laughing when you're about to die. I think you're hopeless." Bing Wei snorted. Lin Xian ignored her. He looked at Lung Feng and said, "I'll give you two people. You don't have to defeat them. You just have to make sure you don't get injured." "What about the remaining three?" Lung Feng asked. Lin Xian said proudly, "Leave the remaining three to me. I will let them know what true despair is." "You want to fight 1 against 3? Lung Feng exclaimed. Countless people were stupefied. Was this brat speaking the truth? Chongqing laughed loudly. "Bingwei, did you hear that? What did he say? He wanted to fight 1 against 3. Brat, even if the weakest 3 were given to you, you still wouldn't be able to defeat them. Not to mention 3, even 2 people would be enough to completely suppress you. I've said it before, your trump cards are nothing in front of me. Do you think you're strong just because you've joined hands today? I will let you know the consequences of offending me." Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. Then he said, "Leave these 3 to me. As for the other 2, you can deal with them yourself." After he finished speaking, his large hand swept across the sky and slapped forward. This move enveloped Chongqing, Bingwei, and Feng Zhan. These were the 3 strongest people. "You're courting death." Bing was slightly angry. Was the other party looking down on her? Feng Zhan's face also darkened. "I want to see how arrogant you are." Chongqing laughed loudly. "Stupid ant, I'll kill you in 1 move." As soon as the 3 of them finished speaking, a terrifying power soared into the sky and attacked the palm in the sky. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed and countless large cracks spread out. The people in the distance were stunned when they saw this scene. Were they really going to fight? Many people closed their eyes, not daring to see Lin Xian's end. Was there still hope? The elders of Xiantian Pavilion also sighed. Lin Xian was strong and could defeat Chongqing. He also had a divine body, but unfortunately, he was facing 3 experts this time. Both Bingwei and Feng Zhan were not weaker than Chongqing. If Lin Xian's cultivation had reached the middle stage of the Saint King realm, he would definitely have the strength to fight. But now it was still too early. Not good. When Lung Feng saw this scene, he wanted to intervene. In the end, another expert from Frostfeather Palace and the Dark Horse from Battle King Peak stopped him. "Your opponent is us." The aura from the 2 of them was equally terrifying. Lung Feng's face was cold. Even he felt pressured when facing 2 experts, let alone Lin Xian, who was facing 3 people. In front, Bing Wei and the other 2 completely surrounded Lin Xian. They released their laws, wanting to suppress Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there, feeling the pressure around him, but the corner of his mouth curled up in a cold smile. The 3 of them were indeed strong. When the 3 of them joined forces, it was even more terrifying. They had already surpassed Zhang Songsheng and the other 2. But so what? Back then, the holy heaven's old ancestor had not been able to kill him, let alone the three of them. Kid, you should be proud that you can die in our hands. Chongqing said coldly. Indeed, it was a great honor for Lin Xian to be attacked by the three experts. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. Do you really think that the three of you can kill me? I'll give you a chance to scram. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. You're courting death. Hurry up and attack. The three of them released their laws. Lin Xian snorted as well. His nine-yang divine body shone brightly, as if he had turned into a sun war god. Powerful energy surged out in an instant. The three of them felt the energy, and their faces changed. Especially Chongqing, who was extremely shocked. He realized that his current strength was even stronger than when he had fought with Lin Xian previously. This meant that Lin Xian had not used his full strength when he fought with Lin Xian previously. Damn it, how strong is Lin Xian now? Let's go. At this moment, Feng Zhan attacked. He punched out, and the wind blades in the sky gathered on his fist. He then slammed it forward. This palm was called the Divine Wind Palm. This was War King Peak's ultimate skill. The people in the distance exclaimed. This super skill was extremely terrifying. With one palm, the wind and clouds in the nine heavens changed. It could destroy a world in an instant. Bingwei also attacked. She formed a seal with her palms, and two ice phoenixes intertwined. They attacked Lin Xian from two directions. The sky was filled with ice, freezing the surroundings. The ice laws could freeze everything. Go to hell, kid. Chongqing also attacked. The 3,000 rivers turned into one, circling around his palm as he slammed it out. The three top-notch fighters struck out at Lin Xian at that moment. If Lin Xian could not withstand it, he would be turned into ashes in an instant. It's over. This battle is over. The person in the distance sighed. The people of the Eternal River sect sneered. He was proud enough to be famous in the world, even though he had fallen from today onwards. It was a pity that such a genius was lost. The experts of the Frostfeather Hall also sighed. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion gritted their teeth. Damn it. The two great sages' faces were also cold, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. They did not attack because the other three sects also had great sage. If they attacked, the flames of war would be even bigger. When the time came, there would be no end to it. They could only say that they were not prepared enough to let the three sects join forces. Chapter 45-55. Lin Xian took a deep breath in the face of the three's attacks. His smile disappeared. In the next moment he made his move. The man-ruler seal attacked the wind god palm. Boom. The power of his divine body was pushed to the extreme. Like a man-ruler, he struck out with his palm, extinguishing the storm in the sky. When the two collided, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The wind god palm was instantly suppressed and became dim. Boom. After a short stalemate, the wind god palm was shattered. Feng Zhan retreated, his face pale. How was this possible? He couldn't believe that his full-strength attack couldn't do anything to the other party. What kind of palm was that? It was like a celestial emperor had descended with boundless dominance. After repelling Feng Zhan, Lin Xian condensed countless laws in his left hand, forming a sword chi that slashed at the two ice phoenixes. With a slash, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The ice and sword chi of the two ice phoenixes collided, creating a loud sound. Countless amounts of frost attempted to seal the sword chi. However, the might of this sword chi was simply too strong. The sword chi was incomparably sharp and could destroy everything. The two ice phoenixes were split apart by the sword. Fairy Bingwei was also sent flying, vomiting blood. Her face was full of shock. In the blink of an eye, the two experts had been injured and retreated, leaving only Chongqing. Facing the terrifying palm, Lin Xian didn't make a move. The golden light in his eyes burst out, forming endless runes. Are you arrogant? Are you strong? But you can't even withstand a single blow from me. Actually, you're just an ant. Lin Xian's soul attack rushed into the other party's mind, causing his confidence to collapse. Ah! Chongqing roared crazily as if he had gone mad. He also vomited blood. The surrounding people were stunned. Facing the top attacks of three experts, this was a sure death situation. Lin Xian only threw out a punch, a sword, and a gaze to break the sure-kill situation. This was simply heaven-defying. Damn it, I'm not dreaming, am I? Countless people exclaimed. The pupils of the Eternal River Sect's expert shrank. Impossible. How did he do it? The people of the Ice Palace also sucked in a cold breath. That sword was too sharp. Didn't he have a divine body? How could he be an unparalleled swordsman? Could a person be proficient in 2 divine arts? No, it wasn't just 2. There was a final gaze. A single glance was enough to cause Changqing to collapse. This was definitely a soul attack. This person actually possessed 3 ultimate techniques. It was truly inconceivable. At this moment, the great sage's eyes also exploded with an extremely cold light as he stared fixedly at Lin Xian. The dark feather great sage laughed heartily. What a certain death situation. What an exceptional genius. He sneered. Geniuses were geniuses, regardless of whether they were alive or dead. They were incomparable to others. The faces of the great sage from the other sects turned cold. Those youngsters, on the other hand, were in complete disbelief. In the face of such an attack, they probably wouldn't even have the chance to retaliate. Little did they know that although Lin Xian had only used 3 moves, they were the combination of his mystiques and ultimate techniques. Physique, sword art, and eye technique were all his strongest attacks. Therefore, defeating 3 powerful enemies in 3 moves was completely within expectations. It's too early for you to be happy. Old Zhang of the Long River sect snorted coldly. Although he had defeated 3 people, the 3 of them still had the strength to stand. What that brat used just now should be his strongest technique, right? How many times could he use that kind of technique? Victory and defeat were decided. Inside the ancient land, Feng Zhan sighed. I really underestimated you. The power of the divine body is indeed worthy of its reputation. However, the 3 of us still have a lot of trump cards and ultimate techniques that we haven't used yet. So be prepared to face despair. With a roar, he charged forward. He was also an expert in close combat. His physique was very strong, and he cultivated the peerless treasure body of the Battle King Peak. Bing Wei and Changqing were the same. They also charged forward. Lin Xian snorted coldly without the slightest fear. He displayed the 10 ultimate swords with one hand and formed a powerful fist with the other. At the same time, his eyes opened and closed, causing one's soul to tremble. Kill. Lin Xian attacked. He punched out, destroying everything. That fist seemed to have turned into a peerless sun, bringing with it unparalleled power. Another sword slash destroyed heaven and earth. Lin Xian's sword chi didn't stop. It turned into the sharpest divine sword, and nothing could stop it. As for his soul eye technique, when his gaze swept across everyone's soul, it was as if it was about to split open. They withstood the immense pressure. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian took the initiative to attack. The first to collapse was Changqing. His soul was once again severely injured. He spat out blood and flew backward. Then he was cut in half by the sword chi. Feng Zhan retreated again. At this moment, his body turned into a bloody mist. In front of the powerful divine body, his peerless treasure body couldn't withstand a single blow. Ice Phoenix condensed a sky full of frost, trying to freeze the sword light that was coming over. However, she failed. This sword strike turned her arms into nothingness. The 3 of them had been defeated previously, and this time, the 3 of them were seriously injured. The battle was very fast. It seemed to have ended in the blink of an eye. Lin Xian stood there, as if he hadn't used all his strength. Damn it! What kind of sword technique are you cultivating? Ice Phoenix gritted her teeth and roared. She felt that it wasn't any weaker than the 9-yang divine body. It was definitely a legendary sword technique. And that eye technique, although it wasn't deliberately targeted at them, it still made their hair stand on end. They knew that the other party was unfathomable. Perhaps only a late-stage expert could suppress him. The others couldn't. They had lost this battle. They laughed bitterly. They couldn't accept it. But that was the truth. We lost this battle. We won't go to our destination. Bing Wei shook her head. On the other side, Leng Feng also stopped. The other 2 didn't attack anymore. They were already scared out of their wits. Leng Feng was also shocked. Previously, He thought that Lin Xian wasn't strong enough. Later he recognized Lin Xian's strength. Later, he was worried about Lin Xian. Now he was completely stunned. Fortunately, he didn't really fight with Lin Xian that day. Otherwise he would have lost miserably. Looking at the retreating figures, Lin Xian said coldly, "You can leave, but I can't." Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed at Changqing. Changqing's soul was severely injured. At this moment he couldn't resist at all. He was instantly grabbed and pressed to the ground. Bing Wei's face changed. "What are you doing?" Lin Xian snorted. "What do you think I'm doing? He wanted to kill me before. I can't let him live. If you kill him, you won't be afraid of those great sage outside, right?" Feng Zhan was also shocked. Is this guy crazy? Although he was defeated, he was still a top expert. He still had a long way to go. If he died now, how could the Long River sect let it go? "Old ancestor, save me!" Changqing cried for help in horror. The elders of the Long River sect outside roared. "How dare you!" A great sage waved his hand and grabbed at the ancient land in front of him. But at this moment, the sky full of lotuses condensed into a sky screen and blocked the palm. The lotus old ancestor laughed. "Why? Do you want to fight? Have you forgotten the rules?" Chapter 45-56. Damn it, you dare to stop me? The great sage of the Long River sect roared. The great sage of the Dark Feather also walked out. "So what if I'm stopping you? Come and fight me if you're not happy." His body emitted a terrifying killing intent. "I'm not afraid of you." The great sage of the Long River sect wanted to join forces with the other two great sages to counterattack. However, at this moment, a roar came from the ancient palace. They all turned their heads and their pupils shrank. Because Changqing was already dead. Lin Xian had destroyed his soul with a single sword strike. There was no possibility of him coming back to life. Damn it! The great sage of the Long River sect roared. How dare Lin Xian attack? Bing Wei and the others were also stunned. Their faces were filled with fear. "Young Master Lin, we've offended you before. I hope you can spare our lives." Feng Zhan also lowered his head. "Indeed, we were wrong. Please forgive us." The surrounding people were stunned. The two experts actually lowered their heads and admitted their mistakes. It was unbelievable. When they saw that Changqing's soul had been destroyed, they all knew that this was a terrifying expert with terrifying methods. They might have a chance to live if they lowered their heads and submitted to him. If they continued to be arrogant, they might end up like Changqing. Lin Xian looked at these people and said coldly, "If you're willing to submit, I can spare your lives. However, I have to cut off one of your arms and hand over your storage rings. Are you willing?" These people were shocked. The storage rings were their blood, sweat and tears. However, compared to their lives, they could only grit their teeth and nod. Very good. Lin Xian took their storage rings. Then he waved his sword, which turned into sword qi and cut off their arms. "I'll spare you this time. If you dare to go against me again, I can guarantee that you'll end up worse than this guy." The few of them took a deep breath and quickly left. In fact, it was easy for Lin Xian to kill these people. However, he did not do so, because he was also thinking about the future. Now that he had offended the Long River sect, the great sage would definitely be hostile to him. If he killed the other two sects, then all the overlords would be hostile to him. This would be very disadvantageous for him and the Xiantian pavilion. Therefore, Lin Xian's son killed Changqing and spared the experts from the other two sections. Presumably, the great sage of the two sects would not continue to attack. As expected. In the distance, the Eternal River sect roared loudly. However, the two great sage from the Ice Rain Palace and the War King Peak walked over to persuade them. He had no intention of making a move. The people of the Eternal River sect were so angry that they almost vomited blood. Damn it! Didn't we agree to join hands? Why aren't they attacking now? The surrounding people were also amazed. It seemed that the final winner was Xiantian Pavilion. At this moment, only Lin Xian and Lung Feng could stand in the center of the ancient land. Lung Feng could not believe that such a thing had happened. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked forward with big strides. Finally, he came to the center. There was a lake there. An extremely mysterious aura was emitted from it. Lin Xian walked in directly and began to absorb the energy inside. Lung Feng came back to his senses and did not dare to delay. He also walked in. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The energy inside was very large, and was very beneficial to one's comprehension of the Great Tao. Lung Feng was comprehending here. Lin Xian was the same. He wanted to absorb as much as possible. The Great Dragon Sword Soul was also absorbing the energy here quickly. Lin Xian's strength was steadily increasing. His greatest comprehension was also getting stronger. A month later, Lung Feng came out. He had reached his limit and could not take it anymore. He sighed. Fate had come to an end. He could only leave. He realized that Lin Xian did not seem to have come out yet. He wondered how long this guy could stay here. One had to know that staying here for one more day meant one more day of opportunity. The people outside were also waiting. When they saw Lung Feng come out, they were all discussing. Lin Xian had not come out yet. They wondered how strong he would be when he came out this time. Those people from the Xiantian pavilion were also surprised. Would he break through directly? If so, it would be too shocking. The elder from the Golden Light shook his head slightly. It was not that easy. What he cultivated was the divine body. The amount of energy he needed was far greater than the other physiques. Indeed, the power of the divine body was many times that of other people. The power it needed was naturally many times more than other people. Although he could not break through, his strength would definitely increase greatly compared to before. Outside, Bing Wei and the others were extremely shocked. Previously, the other party could already fight 3 of them alone. After coming out, wouldn't it be even easier? In the ancient land, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He did feel that his physique and laws had both become stronger. This made him happy. Lin Xian continued to push the Great Dragon Sword Soul, allowing him to absorb even faster. The entire ancient land formed a huge vortex and surged towards the Great Dragon Sword Soul. That's great. I wonder how much I can improve this time. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura came from below and slashed towards the Great Dragon Sword Soul. The Great Dragon Sword Soul swayed, and sword chi pierced through heaven and earth. What was going on? Lin Xian was also shocked. He slowed down the speed of absorption, and the terrifying aura weakened. Was someone stopping him from absorbing quickly? Who was it? He used the heavenly secret divine eye and looked down. He discovered that there was an even more mysterious aura under the ground. Let's take a look. Lin Xian used sword chi to tear open the ground and walked down. He didn't know how long he had flown, but he seemed to have arrived in hell. At this moment, there was an extremely terrifying pressure around him. He saw that there was an even more terrifying great Tao and power under the ground. It was dozens or even hundreds of times more than above. However, he didn't dare to absorb it because there were many coffins below. There were a total of 10. Each of them had an ancient aura and were wrapped in endless great Tao. There was actually someone buried under the ancient land. Who was it? He had never heard of it before. Moreover, it seemed that it was very old. Could it be that it was because he had absorbed too much power with the Great Dragon Sword Soul? That was why the coffins were attacking. Thinking of this, his hair stood on end. At this moment, he took a few steps back. He felt as if a pair of extremely terrifying eyes were staring at him. Although none of the coffins were opened, the feeling was very real. He couldn't be wrong. Was the person inside still alive? His scalp went numb, and he instantly retreated. As he rose into the air, he felt the pressure slowly weaken. Finally, he returned to the ground again. He heaved a sigh of relief. Now that his physique had become stronger than before, and his dragon soul had also been improved. If he stayed here any longer, there would be that unknown danger. Therefore, Lin Xian also prepared to come out. His figure swayed, and he left the ancient land. The people outside were waiting. When they saw Lin Xian come out, they heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally come out. He wondered how strong this brat was. Chapter 45-57. You finally came out. Jian Wuk and the others also went up to welcome him. The people of the Long River sect looked over with cold expressions. Their genius had already fallen. How hateful. One of the elders said coldly. This kid should keep a low profile in the future. Otherwise, if he continues to be arrogant, he might fall at any time. This was a threat that made one's hair stand on end. Lin Xian didn't care at all. Let's see who dares to touch him. Old Ancestor Dark Feather also snorted coldly. A powerful sage aura swept across the surroundings. Then the two great sage waved their hands. Let's go. They soared into the sky. Damn it. The people of the Long River sect gritted their teeth. Their great sage said, go investigate everything about this kid for me. They had to figure it out. Obviously, they wouldn't let this matter rest. Lin Xian and the others returned to the Xiantian Pavilion and held a banquet. This was a victory that belonged to the Xiantian Pavilion. This time they actually defeated the three great sections. Of course, all of this was thanks to Lin Xian. Those sages who didn't go were also surprised when they heard the news. This Lin Xian was actually so powerful? He was simply like a god. Countless people came over to congratulate them. Those people looked at Lin Xian differently. Although he was a newcomer, he was a genius who was even more talented than Lung Feng. Lung Feng also came over and apologized first. Previously, he was too rude to Lin Xian. At the same time he thanked him. It was all thanks to Lin Xian that he had the chance to be tempered by the ancient land. Lin Xian smiled and said, you're too polite. We're all from the Xiantian Pavilion. Naturally, we have to help each other. Yes, that's right. These people clenched their fists, their faces filled with excitement. When they were free, Lin Xian found Jian Wuck and asked, Senior, what's so magical about this ancient land? Are there other people living inside? He was very shocked by the ancient coffins he saw. Jian Wuck said, this place is very mysterious. Every 100 years, we only work together to open it once. At other times, it's sealed and no one can enter. It's even more impossible for someone to live there. There were some legends everywhere. Some said that a great battle had taken place here. There were also people who said that in the past, this was the place where some peerless experts lived. Even the young great emperor had been there. However, no one knew exactly what it was. Lin Xian asked, did no one investigate? Whether it was the Profound Sky Pavilion, the Long River sect, or the other top sects, they all had the great sage. And there was more than one of them. If these great sage were to join forces, they should be able to sweep through everything. Jian Wuck said. Naturally he did, but he didn't find anything. In fact, back then the great sage had tried to force his way through, but ended up being severely injured. It was a narrow escape. From then on, the great sage treated that place with reverence. They only allowed the younger generation to compete for the limelight, but they never took a step inside. A great sage was heavily injured. Lin Xian was shaken. Presumably, it was the aura emanating from the ancient coffin beneath the earth. Luckily he didn't act rashly back then. Otherwise he would be in danger. Shaking his head, Lin Xian didn't think about this matter anymore. The other elders also walked over. Little guy, you're not ordinary. If you have any questions about cultivation in the future, you can ask me anytime. That's right, I also want to spar with you. The elder from the Golden Light sect also walked over. He also wanted to see the power of the legendary divine body. Lin Xian looked at these experts and smiled. Then, I'll disturb all of you in the future. After the banquet ended, Lin Xian rested for 3 days. Then he started to visit the other elders. These elders were all very strong. Many of them were at the peak of the sage realm. Lin Xian learned a lot from sparring with these people. Morning. Lin Xian got up and talked about the Tao of the sword with Jian Wuck. The sword energy on their bodies clashed continuously. Lin Xian's sword was sharp and could cut through everything. Jian Wuck's sword energy walked a different path. It was very light and agile, like an antelope hanging its horn, ethereal and traceless. These were two completely different Tao of the sword. At this moment, the two of them were fighting. Jian Wuck suppressed his cultivation. When the two of them fought, the swordsmen were stunned. Jian Wuck was too strong. He was actually able to compete with Elder Wuck's Tao of the sword. One had to know that Jian Wuck's sword skills were very strong. Although he was only at the late stage of the Sage King realm, he could fight against a peak Sage King. He was a top swordsman. There were very few people who could compete with him in the Tao of the sword. Lin Xian also felt a lot. Next, he found the elder from the Golden Light sect to spar with his body. The elder from the Golden Light sect was very excited. Little guy, let's not use the laws. As he spoke, he sealed his cultivation and laws. Lin Xian did the same. The two of them used the power of their bodies to spar and fought for 3 days and 3 nights. It was very carefree. He had never fought so happily before. The elder with the golden body looked up to the sky and laughed. Although he was an old man, there were no wrinkles on his face. Other than his white hair, he looked no different from a young man. Especially the other party's body. It was too strong. It was like King Kong had descended. Little guy, you are too extraordinary. Jian Wuxia's sword. Also, there are very few people in the Sage King realm who can compete with my body. But you can do it alone. It is really surprising. Senior, you are too polite. Lin Xian smiled. Purple flames danced in the sky and formed a figure. It was a peerless woman. She had a noble aura. She smiled. Old man, you have been here for too long. It's time for me to spar. Lin Xian's face was stunned. Seemed like after he had displayed his talents, all of these elders were really interested in him. Not only was the 9-yang divine body strong, its flames were unparalleled. So, I am here to experience it. Endless flames appeared in the woman's hand. Then they formed a fire phoenix and flew down. Lin Xian activated the 9-yang divine flames with all his strength to fight against it. Another huge battle ensued. For the next half a year, Lin Xian sparred with the elders every day. These elders taught him some of his shortcomings. Lin Xian was thinking about how to improve. During this period of time, his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. On the other side, the Long River sect was also looking for information about Lin Xian. Soon, all sorts of information about Lin Xian was gathered in their hands. This guy came from another world. Previously, he was a battle servant in the Thousand Mountain Grotto. Later on, his strength was outstanding. He won the spouse martial competition and became the prince consort. One piece of news after another appeared in front of these elders. The great sage said, "Is there any more valuable news?" "Yes." The elders below said, "This guy is really daring. He fought a life and death battle with an elder of the Thousand Mountain Grotto. On the arena, he killed the Star Elder in front of everyone. Not only that, he even killed a genius of the Star race. Later on, he was taken away by Jian Wuxia. It was said that after Jian Wuxia took that kid away, yet another mysterious expert had killed an elder of the Star race with a single palm strike." Chapter 45-58. When the people around heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Was this really the doing of a young man? To be honest, even they wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. The Misty Peak was not weaker than the Long River sect. Was there someone behind this kid helping him? Someone frowned. Another elder said. There was still news here, but there was no evidence. It seemed that his eye technique was related to the Rinnegan. Everyone was even more shocked when they heard this. The Rinnegan was a legendary existence. Some people wondered if it was the Qianquan ancient city. He went there too? They knew what happened in the Qianquan ancient city, but they didn't have the chance to go there. They were in the Tianxian continent. The Long River sect was in the eastern region of the Tianxian continent. The Misty Peak and other sects were in the northern region of the Tianxian continent. The distance between the two sides was still very far, unless they got the news in advance. Otherwise, the treasure would have been long gone by the time they got there. Old ancestor, should we make a move? Those people all looked forward. The great sage opened his eyes. This kid was now a member of the Dark Sky Pavilion. And with the talent he had shown, he would be fully protected by the Dark Sky Pavilion. It would be difficult for us to make a move. Should we join forces with the Ice Feather Palace? Someone suggested. Another elder shook his head. I'm afraid it's not good. If he really has the Rinnegan, even if we get it, we will have to fight with the Ice Feather Palace and the War King Peak. Not to mention the Rinnegan, it's not easy to get it. If the news gets out, our Long River sect will be in danger of being destroyed. Is it that serious? Some people were surprised. Another elder said that in the Qianquan ancient city, besides the Misty Peak, there was an even more terrifying existence. It was said that it was a peak existence of the great sage, and he had used the Six Paths body. Then he should be the sect master of the Six Paths sect. He was the descendant of the legendary Great Sage, and he was determined to get the Rinnegan. Competing with such a person would only result in certain death. So we can't snatch the Rinnegan. However, we can spread the news, and the Six Paths sect will definitely send people to capture that kid. At that time, the Profound Heaven Pavilion would probably suffer as well. Upon hearing this, the powerhouses of the Long River sect smirked coldly. Great! The Six Dao sect was stronger than them. With the Six Dao sect making a move, the mysterious Heaven Pavilion definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. Soon they sent people to contact the Six Dao sect. Six Dao sect. It was also a sect from the Profound Sky continent. It was an extremely terrifying sect that inherited the Kuan Great Sage and possessed the Six Paths body. His strength was terrifying. Last time in Qiankuan Ancient City, he was the suzerain of the Six Paths. The Great Sage of Kuan Su went there in person. His avatar was destroyed by the Rinnegan. This was unbearable for him. Therefore, he once again sent people to Qiankuan Ancient City to investigate. She would not let any of those people from Tianji Town go. When the people of the Six Dao sect went to investigate, Misty Peak directly sent a message, saying that he knew the whereabouts of the Rinnegan. The people of the Six Dao sect were overjoyed and quickly asked. It turned out that it was very likely that someone called Lin Xian had obtained it. Did you see it with your own eyes? The expert of the Six Dao sect asked coldly. The people of Misty Peak said that they did not see it with their own eyes, but they had strong evidence. Because that kid originally had the Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes. He was from the Heavenly Secret race. The chances of him obtaining the Rinnegan were much higher than others. What? He originally had the Heavenly Secret Divine Eyes? The people of the Six Dao sect attached great importance to him. They quickly sent this news back. At the same time, they asked again where that kid was. If they could capture him, it would be a great merit. Their sect would definitely reward them. Unfortunately, that guy wasn't here. The people of Misty Peak said that the kid was taken away by Jianwuk of the Xiantian Pavilion. It seemed that he had joined the Xiantian Pavilion. Xiantian Pavilion? The people of the Six Dao sect quickly returned. Soon they set off for the Xiantian Pavilion again. Not long after, they received another piece of news. It was the news from the Long River sect. They said that they had discovered the existence of the Rinnegan. That person was in the Xiantian Pavilion. His name was Lin Xian. The people of the Six Dao sect were shocked. This time they sent the Great Sage. They had to suppress him and bring him back successfully. When the Great Sage came, he was very secretive. Other than the people of the Long River sect, no one else knew. He wanted to prevent Lin Xian from escaping. In a mountain range, two figures flew back. They were the people of the Long River sect. Previously, the two of them were responsible for sending the news to the Six Dao sect. Now they were preparing to return. The two of them were riding on an ice-flying sword. They were both late-stage Saint Kings and were very powerful. They were two elders. The two of them chatted. That kid was dead. That was for sure. He did not have the qualifications to have the Rinnegan. This time, the Great Sage had come. It would be difficult for him to escape. Even if the people of the Xiantian Pavilion protected him, he would definitely die. The two of them sneered and sped up. At that moment, a voice came from behind them. Rinnegan? Where did you get the news? Who is it? The two elders of the Long River sect narrowed their eyes and turned around. The two of them each took a picture. The void behind them collapsed. The void within 1,000,000 miles shattered. However, there was no one. What was going on? The two of them turned around and were shocked. They almost fell off the flying sword. Because there was a figure standing in front of them. That person was wearing an ancient and tattered robe. His gray hair covered his face, making it hard to see his face clearly. However, his eyes were like lightning. He spoke coldly again. Do you know about the Rinnegan? Damn it, who are you? How dare you go against our Long River sect? The two elders started fighting. They looked at each other, and then suddenly exploded. The monstrous laws turned into a giant dragon and charged forward. However, it was useless. This time, they hit nothing but air. In the next moment, they saw a pair of cold eyes that kept changing. It was a pair of green eyes that controlled their souls. The two elders knelt on the ground. They were extremely subservient. The gray-haired man began to ask, and soon, everything was clear. Lin Xian, the Xiantian sect. He searched the other party's soul again. Soon, he saw the illusion of a young man. It was him. The gray-haired man's pupils shrank. He was surprised. He did not expect it to be this little guy. Interesting. His figure flickered, and he disappeared into the void. The Xiantian pavilion. Lin Xian was cultivating inside. Every day he would spar with a few elders and talk about the great Tao. His strength was steadily increasing. Chapter 45-59. Not to mention him, even the Xiantian pavilion didn't know because they couldn't figure it out. Not only did Lin Xian have the nine-yang divine body, but he also had the Rinnegan. On this day, a figure arrived outside the Xiantian pavilion. It was a gray-haired man with a very mysterious aura. He descended from the sky. Who are you? The guards of the Xiantian pavilion walked out and asked coldly. The gray-haired man smiled and said, "You won't know my name even if I tell you. I'm here to look for Lin Xian. He should be in your Xiantian pavilion, right? Take me to see him." "You're looking for young Master Lin?" The guards were surprised. Lin Xian's reputation had already spread throughout the Xiantian pavilion. No one didn't know. It was because of Lin Xian that the Xiantian pavilion was able to turn defeat into victory and hold their heads high. One of the guards said, "Okay, please follow me." Since he was here to look for Lin Xian, he was a guest. They respectfully invited him in. In addition, another guard went to look for Lin Xian. "Young Master Lin, a friend of yours is here to look for you." In the territory of the Zhang 6 Golden Body Elder, the guard said respectfully. Lin Xian stood up in surprise. "Who is my friend? Could it be one of the friends from the true spirit world that year?" He was very surprised and even a little curious. The guard said, "I don't know. I've already brought him to Elder Wux's territory. Young Master Lin will know when he gets there." Lin Xian nodded and then looked at Elder Jingguang. "Senior, I won't spar with you today. I still have something to do." Then he left. Cranes danced in the sky, and spiritual herbs bloomed. This courtyard was very quiet. When Lin Xian landed, he saw a figure in front of him with his back facing him. "Who are you?" He was surprised. Because he didn't know this figure. The figure turned around. "It's you." Lin Xian was really shocked. The gray-haired man also smiled. "Yes, that's right, it's me. Young Master Lin, long time no see." Lin Xian was shocked. This person was none other than the person he had rescued from the divination pavilion. There were a total of 3 people who had come out of the divination pavilion with him. 2 of them were white-haired old men who had wanted to make a move on him, but they had left in the end. The other one was this gray-haired man. He had been silent the entire time and had even warned him to be careful. Later on, when so many great sage descended upon Qiankuan ancient city, these people all left. Who would have thought that they would actually meet the other party here? "So it's you. How should I address you? Are you looking for me? What is it?" Lin Xian asked. "My name is Xiao Mu and I'm here to find you for something. The great sage Gon's final Rinnegan was given to you." Upon hearing this, Lin Xian's pupils shrank. "Are you kidding me? Who told you that? Could it be that you came to me because of this?" Indeed, the other party had told him to be careful before, and now he had come to give him such a big news. This made him surprised and grateful. Lin Xian said, "As long as you're telling the truth, I'll leave here immediately. Moreover, I can consider helping your daughter. However, before that, I have to discuss this with the people of the Xiantian pavilion." After that, Lin Xian found Jian Wu and Jian Shisan, and told them to properly entertain Xiao Mu. As for him, he found Jian Wuk and explained the situation. Jian Wuk was extremely shocked. Damn it, the people of the 6th Dao sect dared to come? Moreover, it was a great sage. This is really a big matter. Then you can't stay here any longer. You have to leave quickly. Lin Xian nodded. "I have the same plan. I'm preparing to go out and travel. Prepare yourself. I'll have the Xiantian pavilion prepare to use the teleportation array." Jian Wuk left. He ordered people to prepare the teleportation array, while he went to see Lord Xiangtian. When they arrived at the mysterious cave, Jian Wuk explained the situation. Lord Xiangtian's voice rang out. Oh, he's leaving? I originally wanted to see him after a while, but now it seems that I have to meet him in advance. Bring him here. Jian Wuk accepted the order and returned to bring Lin Xian to the entrance of the mysterious cave. After that he left. Lin Xian was also nervous. He also knew that this time, he was meeting the pavilion master of the Xiantian Pavilion, Lord Xiangtian. It was the person Xia Juyo had asked him to find. Xiangtian's voice rang out. I'm still in seclusion and can't come out. Elder Xia, is he all right? Chapter 45-60. Hearing this, Lin Xian took a deep breath. Lord Xiangtian, I finally found you. Old Xia asked me to find you. I didn't have any clue at all. I didn't expect to meet you here. As for old Xia's situation, Lin Xian shook his head and sighed. He wasn't doing very well. His lifespan seemed to be almost up. Previously, he had been sealed, but when he fought against the world of mortals, he had used up even more of his energy. Now he was probably sealed again. Even so, the situation wasn't optimistic. If he couldn't find a way to extend his lifespan, he would probably die within 100 years. Within 100 years? Xiangtian also took a deep breath. He said that he would use the power of the Xiantian Pavilion to search for those heavenly treasures. As for the final result, I'm not sure. Lin Xian clenched his fists and said, Lord Xiangtian, don't worry. I will definitely extend old Xia's lifespan. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with determination. Xia Juyo had saved his life more than once. He would definitely repay this debt of gratitude. Sometimes it was difficult to escape the cycle of life and death. Even great emperors had to undergo reincarnation. It was difficult to live forever. Lord Xiangtian sighed. He was the great sage, and he was very powerful. However, the higher one's cultivation level, the more they could see. He didn't continue this topic. Instead he said, I heard that the great sage of the Sixth Tao sect has come looking for you. There's no time to lose. You should leave first. We'll help you block them here. You can come back after things calm down. Lin Xian nodded and said, Oh right, Lord Xiangtian, there's a person called Xiaomu. He claims to be from the Xiao family. He should be from the Ai clan. He invited me. Do you think it's reliable? Xiaomu from the Xiao family. Lord Xiangtian paused for a moment and said, So it's him. He hasn't appeared for nearly 5,000 years. So he's trapped in the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. I've also heard of this person. He's a top genius in Ai techniques. He's straightforward and upright. I don't think he'll harm you. So you can go with him. Lin Xian didn't have anything to prepare. His things were all in his spatial ring. Now that he had met Lord Xiangtian, he could leave. So he went back and found Xiaomu. He said, Senior, let's go. Jian Wuk led the two of them to the teleportation array. The teleportation array was activated, and the spatial laws enveloped them. The two figures disappeared without a trace. One day later, suddenly, a huge force came down from the sky, enveloping the entire Xiantian Pavilion. Endless barriers appeared in all directions, sealing the entire world. The saints in the Xiantian Pavilion all looked up at the sky. What was going on? Someone wanted to attack their Xiantian Pavilion? Jian Wuk walked out with a solemn expression on his face. Luckily, they had acted quickly. They didn't expect that in just a day, the other party would come. If he was a day late, Lin Xian might not be able to leave. Who dares to behave atrociously in my profound heaven pavilion? The Zhang Six Golden Body elder snorted coldly. The other elders all walked out and frowned. It's the aura of the great sage. Don't act rashly. Jian Wuk said in a deep voice. The others also had solemn expressions. Which side did the great sage come from? Only Jian Wuk and a few others knew about Lin Xian's matter. The other elders didn't know, so they were very puzzled. Wang, where did you come from? Why did you come to my Xiantian Pavilion? Lotus Ancestor walked out, lotus blooming with every step. I am from the Sixth Tao sect. Where is that brat Lin Xian? Tell him to come out. A cold voice came from the sky. The surrounding people were shocked. The other party came to find Lin Xian. Damn it, Did they want to capture Lin Xian? They could feel the cold killing intent from the other party. Why are you looking for Lin Xian? The Lotus Old Ancestor asked. The great sage of the Sixth Tao sect snorted coldly. He took something that he shouldn't have. I will return it to its rightful owner. Damn it, they really came for Lin Xian. Some of the younger disciples clenched their fists. Lung Rufing's expression also changed greatly. Lin Xian had provoked the great sage. He was really in danger. Master, quickly save him. That's right, old ancestor. We can't let Lin Xian be in danger. The other sages all spoke out. Lin Xian had made their Xiantian pavilion proud before. They had already recognized Lin Xian in their hearts. Now that someone came to find trouble with Lin Xian, they naturally didn't want to. The elders also gritted their teeth. During this period of time, they had sparred with Lin Xian every day. They had also recognized this young junior. This was the future. A genius with limitless potential could not be allowed to be in any danger. The Lotus Old Ancestor also sneered. Something that he shouldn't have taken? What was it that he didn't know? Just say it. You don't need to know. Just tell him to come out. The great sage in the sky was very powerful. The Lotus Old Ancestor was also angry. Get it clear, this is the Xiantian Pavilion, not the Sixth Tao sect. It's not your turn to behave atrociously. With a cold shout, thousands of lotuses bloomed between heaven and earth, as if to suppress the 9 heavens. Could it be that you dare to attack me? Do you want to be enemies with the Sixth Tao sect? The figure in the sky also descended. It was a middle-aged man with a majestic gait. The strength of his body was very powerful. His physique was like that of a fiend god. The lotuses in the sky kept swaying. The surrounding people all held their breaths. They felt their hair stand on end. Are the two great sage going to fight? Don't you understand what he said? This is not the Sixth Tao sect. It's not your turn to behave atrociously. With another cold shout, a young man flew up. The terrifying figure swept in all directions. His black wings covered the sky and earth. Old Ancestor Dark Feather. Many people cried out in surprise. This was great. Another great saint had come. After Old Ancestor Dark Feather arrived, his voice was biting cold. His young face was filled with endless coldness. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end. The great sage Dark Feather is very powerful. In the sky, the great sage Dark Feather's face sank. He coldly said, that kid has obtained the inheritance of the Rinnegan. It belongs to our Sixth Tao sect. Make him hand it over. The Rinnegan. Countless people were shocked. Dark Feather loudly said, you said that he has the Rinnegan? Do you have evidence? The great sage of the Sixth Tao sect said, let him out and the truth will be revealed. Hearing this confident voice, the surrounding people were shocked. Could it be that Lin Xian really has the inheritance of the Rinnegan? It's too inconceivable. The Lotus Old Ancestor laughed. Unfortunately, Lin Xian is not in our Xiantian Pavilion right now. How is that possible? The great sage Dark Feather's pupils shrank. You want to protect that kid? I already said that it's not my idea this time. It's the order of our Sixth Tao sect's sect master. How dare you? You are going to be enemies with our Sixth Tao sect. We will do whatever it takes to suppress that kid. Do you still want to stop us? The Lotus Old Ancestor frowned. She said, I already said that he is not in our Xiantian Pavilion. You also know that he is a young top genius and needs to gain experience. So a few days ago, he left here to gain experience. What? Left? Chapter 4561. Elder Dark Feather also sneered. How would we know? We will not restrict the actions of our disciples when they go out for experience. So, regardless of whether what you said is true or not, you have found the wrong place to find Lin Xian. He is not here. You should go somewhere else to find him. How is that possible? He just came to Xiantian Pavilion not long ago, and he went out for experience? And just a few days ago? There is no such coincidence. He must be hiding here. You let me investigate. After he finished speaking, his soul power surged out in all directions. Courting death. How can you investigate our Xiantian Pavilion? Lotus Old Ancestor was furious. The great sage Dark Feather was also angry. Don't think that you can be arrogant, because you are from the Sixth Tao sect. Believe it or not, I can make a move on you right now. The atmosphere in the sky became incomparably solemn. Those people below were also gnashing their teeth. Damn it, too arrogant. The Xiantian Pavilion was a top-notch sect. How could anyone be able to pry into it? If that is the case, where will their face go? The atmosphere between the two sides became more and more tense. Just at this moment, the great sage in the sky made his move. He punched out with supreme power. His physique seemed to have turned into a god, unparalleled in the world. You are courting death. The great sage Dark Feather made his move. His wings were fierce and overbearing, slashing out. It was like two heavenly blades. The collision of the two caused the sky to fall and the earth to crack. The whole world turned into a big crack. Lotus Old Ancestor was also ready to make his move. The great sage formed a seal with his palm and crushed a jade pendant. Suddenly, 6 phantoms flew out from the jade pendant, turning into 6 worlds. Floating around him, the terrifying power rarely came out. The great sage Lotus was shocked. The lotuses in the sky shattered. The great sage Dark Feather's expression was also solemn. The power of 6 Tao. He didn't expect that the great sage Dark Feather would carry the power of 6 Tao. It was too terrifying. The people of Xiantian Pavilion were also shocked. This aura was too terrifying. Was the power of 6 Tao sect so terrifying? The great sage Dark Feather sneered. I have said before, you are not my opponent. If you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. He carried the power of 6 worlds with him as he charged over. The great sage of the lotus flower was forced back. The great sage of the Dark Feather's face was cold and gloomy. He wanted to launch a strong attack. At this moment, an aura spread out from the depths of the Xiantian Pavilion. Boom! Boom! The 6 worlds were suppressed, and the great sage was sent flying, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Who was it? Shock was written all over his face. Someone's aura alone was enough to injure him. The great sage of Lotus and the great sage of Dark Feather were also shocked. The pavilion master was awake. They stood respectfully in the sky. A voice came from afar. You want to cause trouble in the Xiantian Pavilion with just you? Even Kuan Su was not qualified to do so. The Kuan Su Great Sage was the sect leader of the 6 Tao sect. When the Great Sage heard this, his pupils shrank and he gritted his teeth. The pavilion master of the Xiantian Pavilion. Since you've already come out, why don't you come out and meet me? You have no right to see me. The voice coldly snorted. The great sage of the 6 Tao sect had an ugly expression. He had heard that this person was the pavilion master of the Xiantian Pavilion. His name was Xiang Tian, and his strength was incomparably mysterious. In the eyes of the great sage, he was incomparably terrifying and unfathomable. No one knew exactly how powerful he was. Before he came, the sect leader had already told him to be careful of this person. However, he was disdainful. Their 6 Tao sect was stronger than the Xiantian Pavilion in terms of overall strength. Even if the other party was the pavilion master, so what? Moreover, he had the 6 Tao power that the sect leader had given him. But now he was terrified. The other party's aura had destroyed the 6 Tao power and injured him. If he attacked again, he had no chance of winning. He gritted his teeth and said, although you're powerful, my 6 Tao sect is not weak. However, my 6 Tao sect is not to be trifled with. Does your mysterious heaven pavilion really want to become enemies with my 6 Tao sect? You can't represent the 6 Tao sect. Xiang Tian's voice sounded. I already said that Lin Xian is not in the Xiantian Pavilion. This is the last time. Get out of the Xiantian Pavilion immediately. As for how long you want to stay outside the Xiantian Pavilion, that's your business. Alright, I want to see if that kid can stay there for the rest of his life. He coldly snorted and left the Xiantian Pavilion. Outside the Xiantian Pavilion, he sat down cross-legged. It was as if a mountain was pressing down on the world. Did he leave? The people of the Xiantian Pavilion all heaved a sigh of relief. Their pavilion master was too domineering. With just a few words, he had scared such a powerful sage. In the following days, everyone returned to peace. The great sage had been guarding outside the Xiantian Pavilion. On the other side, Lin Xian and Xiao Mu took the teleportation array, and left the eastern region of the profound sky continent. In a mountain range, two figures appeared. They had finally left that place. Lin Xian looked into the distance and let out a sigh of relief. Next, let's go to your family. Okay. Xiao Mu smiled and led the way. Lin Xian took out the black earth and the two walked in, resting as they flew. During this time, Xiao Mu also introduced the situation of the Xiao family to him. The Xiao family was a huge family, and it was also a soul family. They were located in Shanghai City. Shanghai City was one of the ancient cities. It had been passed down for a long time, and no one knew its specific origins. Moreover, there was a very special situation in Shanghai City. That was, all the families in Shanghai City were soul attribute experts. This was because Shanghai City was a city of taming beasts. The families in Shanghai City were all beast-taming families, and the Xiao family was one of them. They controlled many monsters. These monsters were either sold to powerful warriors or sold to the sections. They were sold to the surrounding sections. Every sect needed a lot of monsters. Some were responsible for guarding the mountain gate. Some were responsible for suppressing. Some of them became mounts. Most of these monsters came from Shanghai City. After Lin Xian heard this, he was very surprised. Beast-taming families were related to the soul. This meant that they had seen many soul attribute experts and even eye technique experts. This made him surprised, but also a little happy. This was because only by exchanging pointers with more powerful experts could his soul improve rapidly. As they flew, Lin Xian silently cultivated. 3 months later, they stopped. In front of them was a huge city. It was like an ancient beast, and it had a desolate aura and a terrifying monster aura. The two of them walked out of the black earth and stood in the air. Lin Xian could hear the roars of the demonic beasts coming from the ship. It was really shocking. Shanghai City? Lin Xian took a deep breath. Xiao Mu also looked at the city, his eyes shining. When he left, he was still a young man. Now that he was back, he didn't have much lifespan left. It was really like the sea turning into mulberry fields. Let's go. He looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded, and the two of them walked in. It was very lively inside. Experts and saints could be seen everywhere, and monsters were even more common. Xiao Mu was very familiar with this. He said that after 5,000 years, this place didn't seem to have changed much. Chapter 4562. Xiao Mu pointed into the distance. There was a huge warbeast castle there. There were many demonic beasts that could fight inside. It was a place where the great beast tamer clans competed with each other. On the other side, there were many delicacies. There were all kinds of beast materials such as claws, teeth, scales, and so on. He pointed in another direction and said that one could buy some small beasts there and cultivate them. As for that street, one could buy a lot of information about beasts there. The entire ancient city was closely connected to beasts, which made Lin Xian feel very curious. As expected of the antiquity city, it was indeed powerful. Lin Xian followed Xiao Mu and toured the ancient city. He saw some young geniuses who were much weaker than the strong ones he had met. However, there were a few powerful beasts beside him that could sweep through everything. Such people could also be arrogant and domineering. However, to be able to afford such beasts, their identities were not ordinary. Xiao Mu said. Beast tamer clans were also very powerful. They were soul masters and could control beasts. It could be said that they had a lot of means to fight. Some beasts' supernatural powers could be used by them. If they could control a great sage-level beast, it would be even more terrifying. They could sweep through everything. Lin Xian was shocked after hearing this. To control a great sage-level beast. How terrifying was that? Xiao Mu said. In fact, beast tamers did not only know eye techniques. There were many ways to use the soul. Sometimes, it could be combined with sound and illusion techniques. Of course, no matter how powerful one's soul was, it was very difficult to control a great sage. It was simply an impossible task. Unless one's cultivation had reached the great sage level, and was proficient in the soul. Indeed. Lin Xian nodded. At the great sage level, to be controlled, it was impossible unless the difference in soul was very large. Otherwise, it was almost impossible. He asked if there was anyone in Shanghai City. who could control a great sage-level beast. Xiao Mu said that only one person could control it, and that was the Lord of Shanhai Palace. The Lord of Shanhai Palace. Lin Xian was shocked. Could there really be someone who could do it? How powerful was he? He said, "Senior, please tell me in detail." Xiao Mu said, "I'm not sure either." However, there had always been legends about him. It was said that the Mountain Sea Palace Master had long since become the great sage. Furthermore, what he cultivated was an extremely mysterious eye technique of the cosmos. Triflower green spiritual eyes. Only he could control demonic beasts at the level of the great sage. There were 2 great sage-level demonlings in the Mountain Sea Temple, which were under his control. Even now, they were still there as god beasts. He was the god of Shanhai City, a legendary existence. Lin Xian was also shocked after hearing this. He really wanted to meet such a peerless figure. "Oh right, old Xiao," Lin Xian said that your Xiao clan has some kind of eye technique. He was also very curious about this. Xiao Mu said that our Xiao clan, as a clan of beast tamers, does not use eye techniques but sound techniques. Our Xiao clan's secret technique, illusory melody. It was extremely strong and unique in Shanhai City. Other than us, there are a few other top beast tamer clans. Some of them have special eye techniques. You will know about this in the future. How do I enter the Xiao clan? Will you arrange an identity for me? Lin Xian asked. Xiao Mu shook his head. It's not convenient for me to appear now because the Xiao clan does not know that I'm still alive. I hope that you can enter with a new identity and not tell anyone about your relationship with me. As a clan of beast tamers, the Xiao clan would enter the endless mountains every once in a while to search for demonic beasts. Among them, other than some beast tamers, they also needed other experts, such as saints with strong physiques. Of course, other than that, if you are a soul expert, you can also enter. Especially the Xiao clan, they welcome eye technique experts. Young Master Lin, your physique is strong and you're also an eye technique expert. Therefore, you can enter as either of these 2 identities. Then Lin Xian asked, "What do I do after entering?" Xiao Mu sighed. "Before I left, my identity was the young clan leader of the Xiao clan. In the future, I would become the clan leader of the Xiao clan. However, after I left, I disappeared for 5,000 years and my position as clan leader was taken away by others. Therefore, my daughter's position in the clan would definitely fall. My daughter did not disappoint me. She inherited my bloodline talent and is very strong in the path of the soul. Now, she has also grown into a powerful Saint King and become a top elder. However, because of me, the clan has been guarding against her and even suppressing her from time to time. Moreover, I have a granddaughter. Now my granddaughter is also very talented. She is the bright pearl of the Xiao clan's younger generation. What I want you to do is enter the Xiao clan and help my granddaughter, Xiao Xiu. He wanted her to become the champion of the Beast Tamer competition. Let her become the young clan leader of the Xiao clan. The position of clan leader originally belonged to our bloodline and was lost in my hands. I will let my granddaughter take it back." Lin Xian nodded his head, indicating that he had understood the situation. Xiao Mu said, "Young master, I know your eye technique is very strong and my request seems to be too much. However, this is also good for you. I can now teach you the Xiao clan's secret technique, the illusory sound song. Although it is not an eye technique, it is still a path of the soul. It is a very terrifying secret technique. You can comprehend it. Not only that, as long as you help Xiyu, you can enter the Shanhai Palace. The Mountain Sea Palace is a holy land for souls. There are tens of millions of soul cultivation techniques there. Although your eye bloodline technique is at the peak, it's still not enough. Although your eye technique is very good, you can also use other people's techniques. I think that these soul cultivation techniques will not be bad for young Master Lin." Speaking up to this point, Xiao Mu paused for a moment, and then took out a box from his storage ring. He said, "Finally, I have something to give young Master Lin. I hope young Master Lin will not reject it." What was this? Lin Xian was shocked. He took it and opened it. Then his pupil shrank. Inside was an eye sealed in ice by a god crystal. The pupil of the eye was golden and abnormally mysterious. It was very similar to Lin Xian's Tianji God Eye. This was the eye of the Tianji clan. Where did you get it? Lin Xian was shocked. Xiaomu said, I found this eye in the secret room of the Tianji pavilion. At that time, I was wild with joy. Who would have thought that I would be trapped for 5,000 years? Therefore I had no interest in cultivating this eye. Young master, since you have the Tianji God Eye, this eye is suitable for you. Many thanks. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile. He carefully put away the Tianji God Eye and said, I will help you fulfill your wish. Then this old man will thank you. Next, Xiaomu taught Lin Xian the illusory sound song. Then he lived in seclusion in Shanghai City. Chapter 45-63. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked towards the Xiao clan. He was overjoyed because he knew that the Tianji Divine Eye was evolving into the Rinnegan. However, it was too difficult to evolve into the Rinnegan. Although he had received the inheritance of the Eye of Reincarnation from the Qian Grand Sage, the difficulty was not ordinary. Thinking about the evolution of the Nine-Yang Saint body and the Dragon Sword soul, he knew that the more powerful the attack, the harder it was. The more powerful it was, the harder it was to grow. Now that he had the Tianji Eye, it was equivalent to giving Lin Xian a powerful soul resource. As for the other soul secret techniques, they would allow him to gain a deeper understanding of the Tao of the soul. Xiao clan, let me see how magical the Beast Tamer clan is. He walked towards the Xiao clan. The Xiao clan was a powerful clan in Shanghai City. Hence, the Xiao clan's mansion was majestic and took up a vast amount of land. As an ancient city, Shanghai City was extremely vast, like a small world. The Xiao clan was in the north of Shanghai City. Lin Xian flew for a long time before arriving at the Xiao clan's territory. Looking at the majestic buildings in front of him, he was amazed. As expected of a top-notch clan, it was majestic. Lin Xian walked forward. He realized that the situation around him was not right, so he stopped. As he walked towards the Xiao clan, there was no one around as no one dared to stop in front of the Xiao clan. Moreover, Lin Xian felt that there were countless pairs of eyes looking at him. He squinted his eyes and his eyes flashed. In the next moment he turned around and was surprised. It turned out that the plants on both sides of the street near the Xiao clan were all monsters. Moreover, they were in charge of scouting. The gazes from before were from these plants. Lin Xian was surprised. As expected of a Beast Tamer clan, they were powerful enough to tame these plants and scout. He ignored her and continued to walk forward with a smirk. When he arrived near the Xiao clan's main gate, he stopped. He realized that there were many willow catkins floating around the Xiao clan. These catkins danced in the wind and circled around. It seemed to form a defensive array. Such an array surprised Lin Xian. He didn't act rashly. He felt a shocking aura from the catkin, which seemed to be able to threaten him. Interesting. He was becoming more and more mysterious. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. He stopped and carefully perceived it. He wanted to see who exactly this Lu Su was. At this time, a few figures came from the street in the distance. They were very fast, like lightning, walking over. At the same time, some voices could be heard. Fairy Yin Shu, are you satisfied with this item? This was the voice of a young man. The other young man said with a smile. That was for sure. This time, they had prepared meticulously. Fairy Yin Shu would definitely be satisfied. At this moment, a woman's voice rang out. This time it's not bad. You guys are very thoughtful. Fairy Yin Shu, you're being too courteous. We're your disciples, so it's only right that we help you. At first, the sound came from afar, but in the blink of an eye, it had arrived nearby. Accompanying it was the terrifying aura of a demonic beast. At this moment a voice rang out. There was someone up ahead. Who was it? Who dared to be in the territory of the Xiao clan? This person looked very suspicious. Could it be that he was sent by another clan to investigate the situation? Take him down. There was an angry roar, followed by the roar of a demonic beast. A violent force pressed forward like a storm. Lin Xian had been observing the catkins before. What was so special about them? Suddenly, he sensed that a few people had appeared behind him. One of them was charging towards him. He turned around abruptly, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. He realized that it was a demonic wolf that was charging towards him. It had reached the realm of a sage. He snorted coldly, and a cold murderous intent burst out from his eyes as he charged towards the demonic wolf. The demonic wolf was terrified. Its body trembled as it kept retreating. The person on the demonic wolf was also sent flying. He floated in the void, and his face turned cold. Roar! The demonic beasts beside him also let out uneasy roars. One by one they became violent. The people on the demonic beasts were stunned. Damn it, what's going on? They all rose into the air. Who are you? How dare you disturb Fairy Yin Shu's mount? Do you want to die? Those people shouted angrily. Lin Xian turned around, and the demonic beasts were terrified. There were a few figures standing beside him. There were 5 of them. One of them was a young man, and the other was a woman in purple. She stood there with a cold expression, and her beautiful eyes stared at Lin Xian. Someone from the Xiao clan? Lin Xian's lips curled up. He did not care about these people. Instead he asked, "How can I join the Xiao clan? Is this guy here to join the Xiao clan?" The surrounding people discussed. They all looked at Fairy Yin Shu. Xiao Yinshu's face was also cold. "You want to join the Xiao clan? You've disturbed my mount. Don't even think about joining the Xiao clan in this lifetime. Men, throw him out." Xiao Yinshu snorted coldly, and then walked forward. The surrounding youths quickly controlled the demonic beasts. A few people climbed up. 2 of them stopped and looked at Lin Xian. "Little brat, are you going to scram, or do you want us to do it?" Looking at Yin Shu's disappearing figure, Lin Xian's lips curled up into a cold smile. He attacked at lightning speed, and attacked the 2 people. The 2 of them snorted. "You're courting death." One of them attacked Lin Xian. His body was very strong like a giant. The other person let out a sharp cry, and attacked Lin Xian. This was a combination of physical strength and soul attack. The 2 of them worked together, and the power was very terrifying. However, it was a pity that they met Lin Xian. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. Whether it was physical strength or soul, everything was destroyed by him. In the next moment his eyes flashed. The golden light looked at the 2 of them. The 2 of them felt like they were shrouded by a god, and they knelt on the ground with a bang. Lin Xian began to ask about the Xiao clan. Not long after, he got the information he wanted. With a wave of his hand, the 2 of them were knocked unconscious. The 2 of them were sage kings, but they were in a very miserable state. Gate Court. These were the identities of the 2 of them. Lin Xian was not the only one who wanted to join the Xiao clan. Countless strong people wanted to join, because the Xiao clan was a family of beast tamers. Moreover, there were a few famous geniuses in the younger generation, and other people wanted to make friends with them. If they could marry one of the geniuses, they would have a meteoric rise. This was also the reason why these gate courts wanted to join the Xiao clan. Once they joined, they would not be battle servants, nor would they be members of the Xiao clan. Instead, they would be guests of the gate court. Their status was not as high as the Xiao clans, but those strong people were willing to join because this was a chance for them to rise. The Xiao clan was not the only one who was like this. It was the same for other top beast tamer families. Chapter 45-64. Lin Xian did not have such thoughts, but he was here to join the Xiao clan. He had received news that there would be a test in 5 days. At that time, those who passed the test would be able to join the Xiao clan. Such a test was extremely difficult. Normally, one would not be able to pass without the cultivation of a Saint King. Even if one was a Saint King, one would need to have a strong physique and soul. 5 days, huh? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Then he would come back in 5 days. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Shanghai City became lively because it was the day of the Xiao clan's test. Once they succeeded, they would become part of the Xiao clan. They would have a chance to get close to Xiao Yinshu and even have a chance to meet the legendary Xiao Shiyu. The huge square of the Xiao clan was filled with people. There were 2 demonic beasts in front. One of them was a majestic crane, and the other was a huge snake with a murderous aura. Its pair of green eyes were filled with terrifying power. At this moment, a Saint King walked up and charged towards the crane. The red-crowned crane's wings fluttered. His feathers turned into flying arrows, covering the sky and covering the earth as they attacked. 10,000 flying swords. 20,000. 30,000. When the 30,000 flying swords arrived, the Saint King retreated. Cracks appeared on his body, and his face turned pale. The crane retracted its wings and said coldly, he could only withstand 30,000 flying swords, which was a lower defense. Hearing this, the Saint King's face turned ugly. At his level of cultivation, he could be considered an expert in his own right. He would be respected wherever he went. But at this moment, he had become a lower existence. He was unwilling to accept this. But there was nothing he could do. The crane in front of him was extremely terrifying. Every flying sword it shot out was terrifying. He could only withstand 30,000 flying swords, which was already his limit. But unfortunately, he did not meet the requirements of the Shao clan. The surrounding people were also discussing. This guy looked strong, but why could he only withstand 30,000 flying swords? I heard that he was an expert from the body refinement sect. No way, that would be a disgrace to his sect. His master seemed to have some connections with the Shao clan, which was why he could participate in the test. Otherwise, I don't think he even has the qualifications to participate in the test. Cold laughter could be heard from the surroundings. Among them, some of them had already passed the test and become disciples. There were also some people who came to watch the show. The expert from the body refining sect lowered his head deeply. The surrounding voices were like sharp swords stabbing into his heart. He was too ashamed to stay here any longer. He roared at the sky, tore open the void, and fled. Okay, next one. The red-crowned crane at the front spoke again. A figure walked out, and the surrounding crowd was shocked. Within the crowd, Lin Xian stood there, his eyes flashing. Was this the so-called test? He could tell that the crane's flying sword was used to test one's physique. As for the blue-eyed snake, it was used to test souls. Only those with outstanding physiques or souls were qualified to join the sect. If that person was placed in another world, he would definitely be a top expert. However, in an ancient city like Shanghai City, he was nothing. It was actually young Master Xiaoyao. The crowd exclaimed in surprise. The figure that walked up was extremely famous. It was a man in blue robes. His face was handsome, and he held a fan in his hand, looking just like an immortal. He strolled casually, as though he had ascended to immortality, and came to the front. I want to test my soul, Mr. Xiaoyao said indifferently. The white-crowned crane nodded its head, and the blue-eyed snake beside it let out an extremely sharp glow. A pair of eyes of the void appeared in the sky. They were jade green in color, and they were emanating a frightening power of the soul. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. This was too horrifying. After the first jade green eye, the second and third appeared one after another. Very quickly there were 7. 7 eyes of the soul enveloped Mr. Xiaoyao. Mr. Xiaoyao was able to defend against all of them. He only left when the 8th eye of the soul appeared. The surrounding people were shocked. Heavens! Mr. Xiaoyao's soul was truly strong. To think that he could defend against 7 eyes of the soul. No matter where he was, he would be a top soul expert. Why would he come here and be willing to join a sect? Don't you know that Mr. Xiaoyao is here to chase after Fairy Yinshu? So that was the case. Everyone was enlightened. Xiao Yinshu, the pride of the Shao clan. She had a peerless beauty, top-notch talent, and an extraordinary identity. This made her the famous pearl of Shanghai City. Countless experts and geniuses were chasing after her. Mr. Xiaoyao was naturally no exception. This person was pretty strong. In the distance, in the pavilions that were floating in the sky, the experts of the Shao clan stood there. They looked at the scene in the square and started discussing. Amongst them, some of the ladies of the Shao clan laughed. This person is pretty good. But it's a pity that he's not here for us. Yinshu Mimi, he's here for you, you know. Many ladies of the Shao clan looked at a figure in purple. It was Xiao Yinshu. Xiao Yinshu looked down and nodded her head slightly. Not bad indeed. This person could become her disciple. Below, Mr. Xiaoyao, who had successfully defended against the 7 eyes of the soul, smirked. He walked back with victory, receiving the envy of countless people. When he came to the crowd, he frowned slightly. This was because there was a person who was expressionless. He looked at that person. That person was wearing a red robe. He could not detect the aura on his body. It seemed like he had not reached the Saint King realm. Such a person dared to be expressionless in front of his victory. How despicable. But soon he ignored him. He was just an ant. Maybe he did not know what it meant for him to block the 7 eyes of the soul. With his talent, if he was not chasing after Xiao Yunshu, would he need to come here? He was confident that if he was given 3 years, he would be able to chase after Xiao Yunshu. At that time, he would be the master of the Xiao clan. Lin Xian looked at Mr. Xiao Yao expressionlessly. What was there to be happy about blocking the 7 eyes of the soul? He shook his head slightly. Ignoring him, Zhang Xian continued walking forward. Around them, countless people turned their heads. Was someone participating in the test? The current Mr. Xiao Yao had pushed the test to the extreme. No one could beat him. Now, after Mr. Xiao Yao, everyone would feel the pressure. For a moment, no one dared to step out. But now someone actually dared to step out. He had absolute confidence in his own strength. Which top-notch Mr. came to chase after the fairy? They all looked over. But when they saw Lin Xian, their faces were filled with shock. Who was this person? Which sect was he from? Which clan was he from? No idea. He was unfamiliar. They had never seen him before. Maybe he came because he wanted to become a disciple. That would be pointless. I reckon that this person would also end up being eliminated. Chapter 4565. Even an ant dares to step forward? Young Master Xiao Yao looked at him and sneered. Far away in the sky, the people in the pavilion laughed when they saw this. Xiao Yunshu frowned. What's going on? It's this guy? Didn't she ask someone to get rid of this guy? Why is he still alive? Moreover, he came here to take the test. Seeing Xiao Yunshu's expression, a girl beside her laughed. Does Sister Yunshu know this guy? Xiao Yunshu snorted. I don't know him. Damn this guy. Let him take the test. He won't pass anyway. What do you want to test? Below, Bai He asked. Lin Xian looked at Bai He and said, test his physique. Test his physique. Is he also a physique cultivator? Many people were surprised. Bai He nodded. He treated those who came to take the test seriously. Next, it spread out its wings, and countless feathers once again turned into flying swords that flew towards Lin Xian. 10,000, 20,000. Young Master Xiao Yao sneered. This guy's physique is so weak. He can't even block 10,000 flying swords. Soon, he was stunned because he found that Lin Xian had blocked 30,000 flying swords. This guy's physique is so strong. In the pavilion, Xiao Yunshu was also surprised. This was a little interesting. It was beyond her expectations. Her lips curled into a sneer. She wanted to see if he could block 10,000 flying swords. She knew Bai He's methods. She guessed that his limit was 50,000 flying swords. But soon, the smile on her face disappeared. Below, Lin Xian had blocked 70,000 flying swords. Not only her, the other people in the Xiao clan were also surprised. The people below were even more shocked. This guy's physique is so strong. Blocking 70,000 flying swords. In terms of physique talent, it was not weaker than young Master Xiao Yao's soul talent. Indeed, young Master Xiao Yao blocked 7 soul eyes. Lin Xian blocked 70,000 flying swords. They were evenly matched in terms of talent. Young Master Xiao Yao's face turned cold. Damn it, how could it be? Did I misjudge? This guy is a genius that is not weaker than me? Then what is he doing here? Is he here to pursue Xiao Yunshu? For a moment, Mr. Xiao Yao had taken Lin Xian as a strong competitor. The White Crane was equally surprised. He asked, should we continue? Lin Xian nodded and continued. The number of flying swords continued to increase and soon reached 90,000. However, Lin Xian still did not retreat. When the 100,000 flying swords disappeared, the entire scene was silent. The crowd found it hard to believe that this young man could withstand 100,000 fairies. The White Crane did not attack again, because the limit of the entire test was 100,000 flying swords. There was no need to continue testing. This person's physique was extremely strong. In the sky, in the pavilion, Xiao Yunshu was also stunned. She had looked down on this person before. He was just an ant who had scared her demonic beast. He deserved to die. But now she changed her mind. She stood up and said in a clear voice, "I want this person." His voice was transmitted down. The people in the square raised their heads and looked into the distance. They all cried out in surprise. It was Fairy Yin Shu. Heavens, she actually said it herself. This person's future was limitless. Could it be that Fairy Yin Shu had taken a fancy to him? Many people were envious of Xiao Yinshu. Young Master Xiao Yao came back to his senses. His face was ashen and ugly. He gritted his teeth so hard that they broke. This damned brat. He actually stole my limelight. This scene should have belonged to him. Damn it. He stared at Lin Xian, his eyes exuding an extremely cold killing intent. Lin Xian looked into the distance and saw Xiao Yinshu. He was also stunned. Then he said, "I refuse." What? The crowd was stunned again. They could not believe what they had just heard. Fairy Yin Shu had personally invited him, but he had actually refused. This brat must be stupid. Young Master Xiao Yao almost vomited blood. What kind of joke was this? This was the scene he had dreamed of, but he had been so easily rejected by the other party. The people of the Xiao clan were in an uproar. Xiao Yinshu was even more furious. What did he say? "You dare to reject me? Do you know what you're saying? I'll give you a chance to take back your words." She looked down from above like a god looking down on the people below. Lin Xian said, "I didn't come to the Xiao clan for you. I came to find Xiao Xiyu." Where was she? Xiao Xiyu. The people of the Xiao clan were shocked. They looked at Lin Xian with strange expressions. Xiao Yinshu was even more stunned. Then she sneered. "Who do you think you are? You want to see Xiao Xiyu? Let me tell you, you won't have the chance." The others were also in an uproar. This brat was not here for Fairy Yin Shu, but for Fairy Xiyu. Unfortunately, even if he blocked 100,000 flying swords, he was not qualified to become Fairy Xiyu's disciple. Why? Lin Xian asked with a frown. He walked over from behind and said in a deep voice. Xiyu had been cultivating in seclusion recently. More importantly, she did not need a disciple. Indeed, Xiao Xiyu did not have a disciple by her side. Perhaps she would not have one in the future. So that's the reason. Lin Xian frowned. He said, "All right, I'll follow you for now." Despicable brat. Xiao Yinshu was about to faint from anger. What was she? A backup? Damn it. She wanted to refuse, but after thinking about it, she sneered. She must take this brat in and then slowly torture him. She would let him know the consequences of offending her. After the test, Lin Xian, young Master Xiao Yao, and 3 other people became Yinshu's disciples. After Yinshu left, he brought the few of them to his residence. 5 people, in addition to the original 10. Xiao Yinshu now had 15 people by her side. Xiao Yinshu stood there and looked at young Master Xiao Yao with a smile. "Xiao Yao, these people will be under your command in the future. Is that true? That's great." Fairy Yinshu was relieved. Young Master Xiao Yao was stunned for a moment, then his happiness disappeared. He glanced at Lin Xian with a complacent look. This brat was so talented, but he dared to offend Xiao Yinshu. Looks like he'll be unlucky in the future. All right, get ready. We'll go hunting in 10 days. After saying that, Xiao Yinshu left. She had her own things to do. All right, everyone listen to me. Go and get ready. This time, we must make Yinshu satisfied. Young Master Xiao Yao waved his hand, looking like a leader. The others had seen young Master Xiao Yao's talent and naturally knew his strength, so no one resisted. Lin Xian glanced at him, then found a mountain range and sat down cross-legged. Damned bastard. Did you not understand my orders? Young Master Xiao Yao saw this scene and was furious. This brat dared to ignore him. Lin Xian opened his eyes and said, "I came here to find Xiao Xiyu, not to listen to you. If you want to order me around, you can defeat me. Of course, if you challenge me, you'll die if you lose." After saying that, Lin Xian closed his eyes. Damn it, young Master Xiao Yao was mad. He really wanted to attack. However, when he thought of his opponent's physique, he was not confident. Chapter 4566. Lin Xian closed his eyes, sat on the mountain peak, and began to cultivate. A spell appeared in his mind. Song of Illusions. This was taught to him by Xiao Mu, and it was also the Xiao family's secret technique. It was a terrifying soul technique. Lin Xian was browsing and comprehending it. He came to the Xiao mansion not only to help Xiao Shiyu, but also for his own cultivation. Moreover, he had an idea. Since this was Shanghai City, and everyone was a beast tamer family, why not use this opportunity to become a beast tamer? This way, even if he was alone, he could control thousands of beasts. When the time came, he could return to the Misty Peak and take revenge. One must know that other than him, his old friends were all suppressed there, waiting to fight. Lin Xian wanted to go back and save them, but it was impossible with his own strength. If he could control thousands of beasts and kill his way back, then who could stop him? Therefore, Lin Xian decided to quickly comprehend the Song of Illusions and other soul techniques to control the beasts. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Xiao Yinshu came again. She was riding a beast, looking extraordinarily majestic. Today, she was wearing a set of exquisite armor. She also wore a jade flute. She looked like a fairy who had descended to the mortal world. The other families were stunned. Xiao Yinshu looked around and frowned slightly. Lin Xian didn't come? She looked at Mr. Xiao Yao and asked, "Is everyone not here yet?" Mr. Xiao Yao also frowned. After that guy came, he found a place to cultivate and didn't care about anything else. "I'll go find him now." After saying that, she prepared to lead the others to suppress Lin Xian. A figure flew over. "I'm not too late, right?" Xiao Yinshu saw Lin Xian and snorted. "You came in time. Let's go." She waved her hand, and immediately, the people around her moved with her. Xiao Yinshu's mount was extraordinary. It was a beast of heaven and earth, a jade white lion. He sprinted through the air as clouds rose from beneath his feet. He carried Xiao Yinshu with him as he flew through the air at an incredible speed. The surrounding sects also took out their own mounts and followed. Even young Master Xiao Yao had one. Young Master Xiao Yao was sitting on a blazing godly hawk, looking extraordinarily mighty. Lin Xian was the only one who didn't. He stepped into the air and flew. The surrounding people originally wanted to laugh at him, but they realized that Lin Xian's speed was really fast. In the blink of an eye, he was already out of sight. Damn it! They also urged their mounts to give chase. Shanghai City had a unique geography, with one side facing the mountains and the other side facing the ocean. This time they were going to the 100,000 mountains. There were many demon beasts there. Every beast taming family would go there to look for demon beasts and bring them back for training. Xiao Yinshu stopped in front of the 100,000 mountains and said coldly, "All right, I'll give you another test this time. Go down and come back before dark. Whoever brings back the most demonic beasts and the highest grade will be the winner. I'll reward whoever is ranked at the top." The eyes of those men Ting lit up as they flew down towards the mountain range swiftly. Mr. Xiao Yao was equally excited. He knew that the time of the Mountain Sea Beast Trials was very close. The Mountain Sea Beast Trials was a battle held in Shanghai City. All the beast taming families in Shanghai City had to participate. These beast taming families were very powerful, but they were still no match for Shanghai Palace. Therefore, the geniuses and experts of these families wanted to join. The only way to join Shanghai Palace was through the Mountain Sea Beast Trials. As long as one could achieve good results in this battle and shine brightly, they would be selected. Xiao Yinshu would naturally participate in this Mountain Sea Beast Trials. Moreover, she would choose some helpers to help him. If he was selected, he could stay with Xiao Yinshu every day. This way, the chances of catching up with her would be much higher. Young Master Xiao Yao's eyes lit up. He clenched his fists. He must get this spot. Lin Xian didn't know about these things. He was thinking about how many demon beasts he had to fight. He didn't want to show his strength and talent. Therefore, he was prepared to keep a low profile. Boom. Boom. Lin Xian moved quickly. He didn't care about ordinary demon beasts at all. He also ignored those saint-level beasts. Because with his current strength and vision, to be his opponent, one had to be at least Saint King level. Therefore, Lin Xian fought 10 Saint King level demon beasts. These demon beasts were very strong at first. When they saw a small human daring to come, They immediately roared. But with a single slap from Lin Xian, these demonic beasts had all submitted to him. That should be enough, right? Lin Xian used the chains of law to bind these demon beasts. Then, he looked at the time and realized that there was still half a day before the sky turned dark. Therefore, he prepared to continue comprehending the phantom sound song. On the other side, young Master Xiao Yao and the other disciples were also attacking with all their strength. Young Master Xiao Yao's eyes flashed. He was an early Saint King. With his strength, it wasn't a problem to control saint-level demon beasts. However, it was more troublesome to control demon beasts of the same level. With his current strength, he could only control 3 at most. Moreover, this was only suppression. It wasn't control. If he wanted to control a demon beast of the same level, he might not even be able to do it. If demon beasts were so easy to control, then Shanghai City would have become the #1 city in the world. After suppressing 3 Saint King-level demon beasts, young Master Xiao Yao heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the sky had turned dark. He smiled happily. With his results, he was definitely first. He prepared to return. On the way back, he received a message from Xiao Yinshu. She said that she had something to do, and that she would leave. As for the results of the competition, young Master Xiao Yao would decide it himself. Then he would report the results to her. Young Master Xiao Yao was stunned. He didn't know what made Yinshu leave. However, he didn't care. He returned first and waited. The demon beast behind him was caught by him. It was inside the demon beast bag. This was given to them by Xiao Yinshu. It could be used to store demon beasts. Not long after, the disciples returned one after another and handed over their demon beast bags. Lin Xian had also returned and tossed a demonic beast pouch to the other party. Someone asked where Fairy Yinshu was. Young Master Xiao Yao said that she had something to do and left first. I will take charge of the following matters. Your demon beast bags are already with me. When I return, I will pass them to Xiao Yinshu. Now return. Everyone returned. After young Master Xiao Yao returned, he couldn't wait to check the number of people. He realized that he had suppressed the best demon beasts. He thought that the first place would definitely be his. This also meant that he could participate in the Mountain Sea Beast battles with Xiao Yinshu in the future. However, when he saw that there were 10 Saint King level demon beasts in Lin Xian's demon beast bag, he was stunned. Damn it, how was this possible? This fellow actually obtained the stone. How did he do it? He was really shocked. It was more than 3 times his. Chapter 4567. Young Master Xiao Yao didn't know that this was because Lin Xian wanted to keep a low profile and didn't want to show too much strength. That was why he suppressed 10 beasts. Otherwise, the number would probably scare the other party to death. After all, with Lin Xian's current strength, even the peak of the Saint King stage didn't know about his opponent. Perhaps only a late-stage Saint King could give him pressure. Therefore, these early-stage Saint King beasts were really not a challenge. To young Master Xiao Yao, it was not ordinary. Young Master Xiao Yao's eyes were red. He took a deep breath and gritted his teeth. He made a decision in his heart. He decided to exchange with Lin Xian. Originally, Lin Xian's name was written on the beast bag. He used his soul to erase it, and wrote his own name. Then he walked towards Fairy Yinshu's palace. Then he took the beast bag. Xiao Yinshu was a little depressed when she returned. She had been waiting in the 100,000 mountains. About 2 hours later, she noticed that there were some strange movements. So she went to search. She saw a small beast. Although it was weak, its bloodline was very powerful. It made her happy. She was ready to chase after it. She flew all the way, but in the end this little guy escaped. She returned without any success and was sullen. She casually looked at the beast bags. The number of beasts inside couldn't be said to be bad, but it wasn't enough to satisfy her. However, when she saw a beast bag, her eyes suddenly lit up. She carefully found that there were 10 beasts inside. And they were all early-stage Saint King. To be able to suppress 10 such beasts in a day, one could imagine that it was very strong. After all, the 100,000 mountains was very big. And these Saint King level beasts were all strong. They would have their own territory. It was not easy to find it in a day, not to mention suppressing them. It was normal if she was given more time, but to do it in a day, it really surprised her. She looked at the name of the beast bag, and found that it was young Master Xiao Yao's. She immediately looked forward. Did you bring this? Young Master Xiao Yao was nervous because this was Lin Xian's. At this moment he gritted his teeth and said, "Yes, this is mine. I was lucky today, so I found a few more beasts and suppressed them." Very good. The corners of Yin Shu's mouth curled up into a smile. Seemed like the strength of this young Mr. Xiao Yao was even stronger than she had imagined. With proper training, he might be able to become her helper. After all, the Mountain Sea Coliseum was about to begin. She was in dire need of a helper. Then she saw Lin Xian. Lin Xian's demonic beast pouch had 3 Saint King class demonic beasts, which were not bad. However, they were still lacking when compared to young Master Xiao Yao's. Shaking his head, he ignored him. Perhaps this fellow only had a slightly stronger physique. He was probably still lacking in other aspects. Next up, she would focus her attention on this Mr. Xiao Yao. Satisfied, young Master Xiao Yao left. That's great. After that, he went back to announce the names of the sections. When Lin Xian found out that the first place was actually young Master Xiao Yao, he wasn't surprised at all. That was because he felt that he was keeping a low profile and had no intention of getting first place. However, when he saw that young Mr. Xiao Yao had suppressed 10 monstrous beasts while he only had 3, he frowned. The situation had changed. He had suppressed 10 monstrous beasts, so how did it become young Master Xiao Yao's? He looked at the other party and quickly understood that the other party had made a move in the dark. His lips curled into a cold smile. Young Master Xiao Yao naturally saw this scene as well. His face sank as he walked over. "Kid, you have offended Fairy Yin Shu previously. I hope that you can keep a low profile and not cause trouble for me. Otherwise, I will chase you out." Obviously, this was a warning. Lin Xian looked at the other party with a smile that didn't look like a smile. He didn't see the other party as an opponent at all. That was because the other party wasn't qualified at all. He said calmly, "Some things could be hidden for a while, but not forever. You don't understand this theory, but I can teach you." After saying that, Lin Xian turned around and left. Young Master Xiao Yao's face turned green. Damn it, the other party's tone didn't sound like someone of the same generation conversing. It was as if his elder was educating him. What right did the other party have to look down on him? He was furious. Next, Lin Xian continued to comprehend the phantom melody. Moreover, he decided to go out and test it out personally. He left Xiao Mansion, left Shanghai City, and came to the 100,000 Mountains again. Previously he only had 1 day, so he stayed outside the 100,000 Mountains. This time he was about to enter deeper. The aura inside was very dangerous. There were too many beast saints outside. Lin Xian could feel a terrifying aura permeating the air. Buzz buzz buzz. Feeling that the distance was about right, Lin Xian stopped and looked around. Suddenly, the tree under his feet stood up abruptly. The branches of the tree turned into chains and swept toward him. Lin Xian let out a cold snort and slammed the chains away with his palm. He looked down from the sky and frowned. The tree he was originally on had turned into a giant. Not only him, but the entire forest shook and turned into tree giants. These were all monsters, and it was a group of monsters. There were too many of them, and the leader was at the Saint King stage. In addition, there were more than a dozen early stage Saint Kings and countless Saint Venerables. These tree giants roared together, and a terrifying power swept in all directions. Lin Xian also frowned. As expected of monsters, they lived here and could attack at any time. If an ordinary Saint King came here, he would definitely die. Even a Saint King stage expert would have a hard time surviving in this place. Unfortunately, Lin Xian's strength was not something these monsters could imagine. Buzz. A tree giant rushed over. It was a peach tree, and its branches were drawn into peachwood swords. It kept flashing with a biting cold aura. The sword shadow passed through, and Lin Xian was surprised. Saint Kings of the same level were probably not a match for it. Boom. Flames burst out from his body, and the 9 Yang divine fire quickly rushed out. These were all monsters of the wood element, and they were very afraid of fire. Sure enough, as soon as the flames appeared, thousands of tree giants quickly retreated and defended. The tree giant roared to the sky, and with a wave of its hand, an endless storm swept in all directions. It resisted. The 9 yang divine fire pierced through everything and directly enveloped it. The tree giant roared, and half of its body was ignited. Its body cracked open, and it quickly retreated. The other monsters also retreated. This human was too strong, and he was much stronger than they thought. Although they outnumbered him by 1,000 times, they could not defeat him at all. The flames were fatal to them. These tree giants quickly fled. Want to run? Lin Xian sneered and flew up. He used the phantom sound song. The phantom sound song required a powerful saint tool, such as Xiao Yunshu's jade flute, which was a powerful saint tool. Lin Xian did not have such a saint tool, and he did not need it. He directly let out a dragon roar. Chapter 45-68. Thousands of tree giants were affected. They roared and swept in all directions. The ground cracked as if it was the end of the world. At this moment, the leader that had been ignited by the divine fire charged over again. It was an old locust tree. At this moment, its broken body had already healed. Wood-type trees had very strong vitality. A long spear appeared in his hand and he charged over. The spear pierced through everlasting wind and cloud. The spear shot out like a dragon. This tree giant was extremely powerful. The attack landed on Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's divine body swayed, and the surrounding void collapsed. In the next moment, he turned his head and looked at the tree demon. The tree demon was terrified. How was this possible? His full-powered attack didn't break through the other party's physique. What kind of defense was that? He was so scared that he turned around and fled. The surrounding tree demons fled even faster. Lin Xian waved his hand and covered the sky and earth, enveloping the tree demon. In the next moment, the golden light in his eyes spun and formed a special pattern. The tree demon's soul was attacked and he roared crazily. He let out a roar. Damn it! He wanted to resist, but how could he be a match for the heavenly secret divine eyes? Soon he was controlled. The spear in his hand disappeared, and he knelt on one knee. Greetings, Lord. Very good. Lin Xian smiled and said, Control the other beasts. He gave the order. The locust tree demon walked out and roared. The surrounding 1,000-eyed beasts all stopped. Had their leader already submitted to him? These tree giants didn't escape but stopped. Lin Xian looked at the locust tree giant and asked if there were any other powerful beasts around. The locust tree giant pointed into the distance and said, There was something even more terrifying there. The ice fire swan. In front of them was a land of ice and fire. Half of it was ice, and the other half was fire. There was a powerful beast called the ice fire swan. One side of its wings was fire, and the other side was ice. The entire territory was formed by it. At this moment, it spread its wings and flew. Monstrous flames and storms swept out, attacking the humans in front of it. In front of it was a woman in white. She looked like a fairy of the 9 heavens. There was also a beast beside her that let out a roar. Both sides were resisting. The woman had a jade flute in her hand. A terrifying heavenly melody flew out from the jade flute. The 3 mutated beasts raised their heads and roared. Their terrifying auras swept out in all directions, clashing with the ice and fire. The ice fire swan let out a long cry, causing the weather to change. Endless ice appeared in front of him, covering heaven and earth. Those hailstones were like mountains, falling from the sky, piercing through heaven and earth. The terrifying flames turned into divine swords that swept across the area. As the 3 exotic beasts retreated, the white-clothed lady's expression became extremely grave. She did not expect the ice fire swan to be so powerful. Previously, she had received news of this place and was prepared to come over. Originally, she was well prepared, but now it seemed that she had miscalculated. The ice fire swan must have made a breakthrough not long ago. Its strength was stronger than he had imagined. It seemed that he had to go back and make preparations. The white-clothed woman wanted to leave, but the ice and fire that filled the sky condensed into a barrier cage. The ice fire swan sneered. Since you're here, don't leave. Although it didn't recognize the woman in white, it knew that she was from the Beast Tamer clan from the Song of Hallucination. He had once suppressed many of his subordinates, so how could he possibly let him go? The laws of ice and fire gathered and swept out in all directions. Xiao Shiyu's expression was grave. She felt a huge impact, and her face turned pale. At this moment, an exotic beast beside her was frozen by the ice, and then burned to ashes by the flames. Not good. Xiao Shiyu quickly retreated, and the Song of Hallucination was performed to the extreme, while controlling the remaining two exotic beasts to resist. At the same time, the terrifying heavenly sound also charged towards the ice-fire swan, trying to interfere with the other party's soul. The ice-fire swan snorted coldly. A metal fragment flew out from his body. That metal fragment was covered with cracks, and one could vaguely see that it was a fragment of a mirror. At this moment, it was protecting its soul. All the sound was blocked by this metal fragment. Damn it, it was a sacred weapon for soul defense. Xiao Shiyu's face turned pale. The other party even had such a thing. This was something that I found with great difficulty, for you beast tamers from hell. So today you can die. The ice-fire swan's huge body rushed over. Its pair of sharp claws were like dragons of ice and fire, shattering everything. Xiao Shiyu quickly retreated. The two exotic beasts in front of her were hit, and their bodies split open, turning into a bloody mist. Not good. At this moment of crisis, Xiao Shiyu once again activated the Song of Hallucination. Endless vines spread around her body, forming armor and shields to resist. After this attack, she was sent flying, crashing into several mountains. The vines around her also split open, turned into ashes and fell. Many cracks appeared on her body, but at least she was still alive. She was still alive. As expected of a beast tamer family, there were many beasts around her. But no matter how many there are, you won't be able to walk out today. The ice-fire swan spread its wings, and once again condensed the laws of heaven and earth. This attack was definitely going to kill this human in front of it. Xiao Shiyu's eyes were filled with despair. The purple vine had already been shattered. This was an extremely strong defensive beast, and it was her trump card. Now that she couldn't even defend against it, she probably had nothing to defend against. No matter how many beasts she took out, she wouldn't be able to block this ice-fire swan. Because this ice-fire swan was a late-stage Saint King. Go to hell. The laws of ice and fire flew over. At this moment of crisis, a golden figure descended from the sky and punched into the void. It was like thousands of suns blooming with light, blocking the laws of ice and fire. At the same time, a sword flew out, broke the barrier, and quickly left with Xiao Shiyu. You want to leave? The ice-fire swan roared. How could it allow the other party to escape? It spread its wings and quickly chased after her. Xiao Shiyu was stunned. Was she saved by someone? Who was it? She looked to the side. It was a figure covered in golden flames, like a sun god of war. It was this person who saved her. Xiao Shiyu couldn't believe it. How strong was this physique? This person was none other than Lin Xian. Lin Xian learned from the locust tree giant that there was an even more terrifying beast ahead. He was ready to go. When he arrived, he saw a huge ice and fire barrier sweeping across the area. An ice-fire swan was attacking a human woman. Lin Xian could sense that the human woman was using the hallucinatory melody, which meant that the other party was from the Shao clan. So Lin Xian made a move and saved the other party. He didn't expect that the ice-fire swan didn't retreat, but continued to chase after them. Xiao Shiyu said, "The beast behind us is very strong. We have to hurry up. When we reach Shanghai City, we'll be safe." As soon as she finished speaking, she felt the ice-fire swan behind them suddenly increase its speed and gather energy. Its speed doubled, and it reached them in an instant. Chapter 4569. Not good. Xiao Shiyu's face was pale, but Lin Xian said, "You retreat first." After saying that, he looked up at the sky and condensed his palms. He used the Tai Chi diagram to attack the sky. The huge yin and yang aura kept spinning. It collided with the opponent's ice and fire claws. For laws instantly erupted. The surrounding world kept shattering. After one attack, Lin Xian retreated with a cold expression. The ice and fire swan in the sky was also blocked. Despicable human. He stared at Lin Xian. He couldn't believe that this kid, who was only at the early stage of the Saint King realm, could fight against him. The laws of yin and yang, who are you? He could feel that Lin Xian was not from the beast-taming clan. Xiao Shiyu was also stunned. This young man was so powerful. Great, they were saved. Lin Xian looked at the other party and said coldly, "You can't keep the two of us here today. Do you still want to continue fighting? Ant human, you dare to question my strength?" The ice and fire swan was furious. Lin Xian sneered, "You can try." A lot of sword energy emerged from his body, and a sword shadow appeared in his hand. The biting cold aura could destroy the 9 heavens. The ice and fire swan felt his hair stand on end. It was a fatal crisis. He couldn't believe it. This human could threaten him. "You are lucky." He spread his wings and flew away, escaping from here. They were saved. Xiao Shiyu heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian put away the sword energy that filled the sky, turned around and asked, "Are you okay?" Xiao Shiyu shook her head. She was injured, but it wasn't fatal. She swallowed the pill and asked, "Thank you for saving me. How should I address you?" "And how should I address you?" Lin Xian asked with a smile. "My name is Xiao Shiyu, a disciple of the Xiao clan. I will definitely repay you for saving my life this time. Please follow me back to the Xiao clan. I will definitely treat you with respect." Lin Xian was surprised. "You are Xiao Shiyu?" He was really surprised. He wanted to find Xiao Shiyu before, but he was told that she was in seclusion and didn't want to stay. So he could only stay with Xiao Yinshu for the time being. However, he did not expect to meet Xiao Shiyu on this hunting trip. It was really fate. "You know me?" Xiao Shiyu was stunned, and a trace of doubt appeared on her face, because she didn't know Lin Xian at all. Lin Xian smiled. He had just joined the Xiao clan recently, and had become a sect. Naturally, he had heard of your name. "All right, let's go." The two of them rose into the air and returned together. After entering the Xiao mansion, Xiao Shiyu left, but she remembered the name, Lin Xian, deeply. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was preparing to return to the mountain peak to continue comprehending and cultivating. The hunt this time had given him some insights. The Tianji divine eyes were very powerful, and could control demonic beasts in the middle stage of the Saint King realm. He had just started cultivating the melody of phantasmal sound, but he had already discovered its magical effects. Currently, the heavenly secret god eyes was very effective in controlling a single demonic beast. As for the hallucinatory sound song, it was suitable for group attacks. Facing thousands of demonic beasts, Lin Xian's phantom melody was much more powerful. Of course, he could only use illusions to affect the souls of these demonic beasts. He couldn't control them instantly. Controlling thousands of Saint King realm demonic beasts in an instant was probably something that only a few people in Shanghai City could do. On the other side, Xiao Yunshu's face was cold. She had gone out again during this period of time to search for that demonic beast. However, she still couldn't find it. She was very unhappy and wanted to find someone to vent her anger. The first thing she thought of was Lin Xian. She wanted to torture Lin Xian. However, she couldn't find him. She called Xiaoyao over and asked him. After asking the guards of the Xiao clan, she found out that this guy had gone out by himself. Damn it, as my disciple, he didn't even inform me when he went out. Xiao Yinshu gritted her teeth. When he comes back, I will definitely teach him a lesson. Xiaoyao was also gritting his teeth. If he could use this opportunity to chase this guy out of the Xiao clan, it would definitely be a good thing. Therefore, he ordered the other sects to keep a close eye on that guy and inform him immediately when he returned. Finally, they saw Lin Xian return and immediately reported to Xiaoyao. Xiaoyao told Xiao Yinshu. Xiao Yinshu sneered. She was holding a staff in her hand. "Let's see how I will deal with him today." She sat on the jade white lion and quickly flew over. When she arrived near the mountain peak, she stared at Lin Xian. "Kid, you have some guts. Since you dared to sneak out, let's see how I will punish you today." As she spoke, she waved her hand and the staff fell. Boom. Several mountain peaks were instantly turned into rubble. Lin Xian frowned and grabbed the staff. His face sank. You dare to attack me? Xiao Yinshu was furious. A mere sect dares to teach me a lesson? Now you are obediently accepting your punishment. Boom. Lin Xian directly grabbed the staff and broke it in half. He threw it on the ground and sneered. You should know that I only came here to continue living in the Xiao clan. I won't listen to your orders. You. Xiao Yinshu was so angry that she was about to cry. The other party had actually broken her magic staff. It was a gift from her grandfather for her birthday. She used it very skillfully. At the same time, she was shocked. She knew the power of this staff. A sage king could not destroy it. However, the other party did it easily. What kind of power was this? Therefore, she was shocked and angry. She was so scared that she did not dare to attack, but she was also mad. Men, take him down. Xiao Yinshu roared. Young Master Xiao Yao took the opportunity to lead the other sects over. More than 10 sects surrounded Lin Xian. At the same time, many strange beasts flew out, ready to attack. The situation could be said to be extremely dangerous. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they also watched from afar. Exclamations sounded. Someone actually dared to provoke Fairy Xiao Yinshu. He was unlucky. That was for sure. Xiao Yinshu was the apple of everyone's eye. Who dared to provoke her? Xiao Yinshu's status and talent were top-notch. Coupled with the princess's temper, it could be said that no one in the Xiao clan dared to provoke her. Should they attack? Lin Xian snorted. These people together were not enough. Previously, he kept a low profile because he wanted to stay in the Xiao clan. Now that he had met Xiao Shiyu, he had other opportunities. Therefore, he did not want to stay in the Xiao clan. Thinking of this, his face darkened. He stomped his foot, and more than 10 mountains below shattered. The flames on Lin Xian's body became more and more fierce. He was about to attack. At this time, a voice came from afar. Stop. Who dares to stop me? Xiao Yinshu snorted. At the same time, she said, Xiao Yao attack. Xiao Yao received the order and quickly attacked. The surrounding sects and beasts also attacked. Their power covered the sky and earth, and they attacked. At this time, countless purple flowers appeared in the sky. This was violet orchid, blooming all over the 9 heavens, blocking everything, sealing everything. Xiao Yao and the beasts were all surrounded by violets. Xiao Yinshu was stunned. Violets, could it be? It was Sister Shiyu. Chapter 4570. Sister Shiyu, you're out. Xiao Yinshu happily walked over. The person who came was Xiao Shiyu. After she came back, she immediately sent people to inquire about Lin Xian's situation. Soon, she found out and prepared to come over. When she came near, she saw a sky full of demonic beasts attacking. She knew that Lin Xian was in danger, so she immediately used the violet flower to seal everything. Sister Shiyu, don't bother. This guy is too arrogant. I have to teach him a lesson. Xiao Yinshu gritted her teeth. Xiao Shiyu shook her head. Little sister Yinshu, give me some face and stop. This young Master Lin is my benefactor. Benefactor? Xiao Yinshu was stunned. Young Master Xiao Yao and the others were also stunned. What's going on? Xiao Shiyu waved her hand and the violet flower disappeared, allowing everyone to move again. She then walked forward and said, Young Master Lin, I'm sorry. Did I hurt you? No. Lin Xian shook his head. Even if Xiao Shiyu didn't attack, these people couldn't hurt him. Heavens, what's going on? The people from the surrounding sects were all stunned. Wasn't the legendary Xiao Shiyu a nice beauty? She didn't care about anyone. Why was she so friendly to Lin Xian? Even Xiao Yinshu and Yi were stunned. Was she dreaming? Sister Shiyu, you weren't tricked by this guy, were you? Xiao Yinshu didn't believe it. Xiao Shiyu said, alright, stop fooling around. Is there some misunderstanding between you and young Master Lin? I'm lacking a helper. Why don't you give him to me? As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were even more stunned. Their eyes instantly turned red. Xiao Yinshu was also a pearl, but compared to Xiao Shiyu, she was still a little lacking. Xiao Shiyu's identity was a true goddess, an existence that countless people looked up to. However, Xiao Shiyu didn't want to join the sect, so they couldn't do anything. They didn't expect that she would personally ask for help today. Xiao Yunshu gritted her teeth and glared at Lin Xian. Where did this guy get such good luck? However, since Xiao Shiyu had spoken, she couldn't say anything. She could only remind her sister Shiyu that she had to be careful of what this guy was trying to say to deceive her. If he dares to have any bad thoughts, tell me and I will personally suppress him. Alright, I got it. Xiao Shiyu smiled and looked at Lin Xian. Young Master Lin, please. Under the envious gazes of the crowd, Lin Xian and Xiao Shiyu left. Then, they went to Xiao Shiyu's residence. Xiao Shiyu's mansion was even more magnificent. Xiao Transport's mansion was even more magnificent. He could be said to be the #1 genius of the Xiao clan. After entering her mansion, Lin Xian discovered that there were demon beasts everywhere. Roar! A roar came from the front, shaking heaven and earth. There was also the sound of chains. Xiao Shiyu frowned. She quickly rushed over. Lin Xian looked over as well. After flying past the pavilions, he arrived at the back of the mountain. Only then did he realize that there was a demonic beast sealed within a formation, an enchantment. It was a demonic ape. It was very tall and black flames were burning on its body. Its arms were dancing, and the sky was falling. Fortunately, he had the chains of law and the enchantment. Otherwise, he would have escaped long ago. The demonic beast's cultivation was at the Saint King stage, and it was extremely violent. When Xiao Shiyu arrived, her face changed. Not good, this guy went crazy again. She quickly took out her jade flute, and used the phantom shadow. The terrifying sound of heaven flew forward and controlled it. The black-fired demonic ape roared at the sky, letting out an extremely unwilling roar as it fought back. Xiao Shiyu used the phantom sound song, while activating the enchantment. Finally, Xiao Shiyu suppressed the demonic ape again. She heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he watched from behind. The black-fired demonic ape was very powerful. It seemed that it was only suppressed temporarily, and had not been tamed yet. Young Master Lin, I have caught this guy for a long time. However, it would be difficult to tame him. This way, please. She brought Lin Xian to a palace nearby. Lin Xian smiled. Since you've invited me over, I'll be your assistant. Your injuries haven't healed yet, right? Why don't you recuperate? After you recuperate, I will help you tame this guy. Young Master Lin, I know you are powerful and can fight against the Ice-Fire Swan. However, suppressing a demonic beast and controlling it were two different things. Indeed, suppressing it was easy, but taming it was too difficult. It was 10 times more difficult. Lin Xian smiled. Don't worry, other than my physique being stronger, I also know my techniques. Maybe I can help you. Really? Xiao Shiyu was overjoyed. That's great. Just like that, she began to go into seclusion. Half a month later, she came out of seclusion. Her injuries had already healed. Lin Xian also went to observe the black-fire demonic ape every day. He found some flaws in the black-fire demonic ape. Then he had a plan in his heart. When Xiao Shiyu arrived, he told her about his plan and told her about it. This black-fire demonic ape is extremely violent and arrogant. It will definitely not be convinced if it is suppressed. We can magnify its state infinitely. Let it go completely crazy. When it goes crazy to the extreme, its aura will definitely drop. That will be the time for you to strike. After Lin Xian finished speaking, Xiao Shiyu also nodded. Of course she knew that. However, she couldn't have done it alone. Fortunately, Lin Xian had told her to leave the front to him, and take charge of the rear. Although Xiao Shiyu knew that Lin Xian was powerful, she was still worried. After all, she was the real beast-taming genius and the #1 genius in the family. If she couldn't do it, could he do it? The two of them came to the back mountain again. The black-fire demonic ape raised its huge head. When it saw Xiao Shiyu coming again, a cold look appeared in its eyes. The next moment, it stood up again and roared at the sky. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, "It has begun." Xiao Shiyu nodded and retreated, ready to wait. Lin Xian, on the other hand, walked away. Seeing that it wasn't Xiao Shiyu but another unfamiliar human walking over, the black-fire demonic ape snorted and spat out flames. The terrifying flames shrouded Lin Xian. A cold smile appeared in his eyes. Such an ant could be killed by a flame. But soon it was stunned. It realized that Lin Xian had walked out of the flames. Not only that, Lin Xian walked into the formation. He threw a punch at it. With a crack, one of its arms was broken. Roar. The black fire demonic ape was completely enraged and went crazy. An ant, a human, dared to hurt it. It couldn't stand it. It roared at the sky and the sound swept in all directions. The whole world was shaking. The people in the Shao clan were terrified. What happened? Even the elders' eyes lit up and looked into the distance. It was Xiao Shiyu's residence. It seemed that she was still subduing the demonic ape. Chapter 45-71. The black fire demonic ape was extremely violent. With her current strength, it was still too much for her. The elders shook their heads slightly. Although the sound was terrifying, they were not worried. With their Shao manners array formation and chains, these beasts could not escape. However, this failure might be a blow to Xiao Shiyu. Xiao Shiyu, who was at the front, was also stunned. She knew that Lin Xian was very strong, but she did not expect Lin Xian to be so bold as to walk into the array formation. He even injured the black fire demonic ape. The black fire demonic ape's demonic aura was overwhelming. Its gaze was like a divine lamp, as if it was going to swallow the world. It was like a demon god. However, Lin Xian was not afraid in front of such a huge monster. In fact, there was an extremely cold radiance in his eyes. Heavenly secret divine eyes. He did not control it. Instead, he used an illusion to magnify the other party's violence. The black fire demonic ape seemed to have fallen into a frenzy. It roared towards the sky and attacked continuously. But Lin Xian stood there, unmoved from beginning to end. This situation lasted for a month. After a month, the black fire demonic ape's aura weakened. Lin Xian stepped back and said, "That's enough." Behind him, Xiao Shiyu had been waiting for a long time. She used the phantom song to control it. The musical notes jumped out and entered the other party's soul. The black fire demonic ape resisted frantically. However, a month of roaring and attacking had already depleted its energy. It was no match for the soul attack at this moment. 5 days later, it was lying on the ground. It was controlled. Seeing the black fire demonic ape that had surrendered, Xiao Shiyu could not believe it. She had brought the black fire demonic ape back 3 years ago. For the past 3 years, she had come every month to control it and try to subdue it. However, she failed every time. This made her feel hopeless. She was afraid that without a breakthrough in her strength and soul, it would be impossible to subdue it. However, she did not expect that 3 years later, with the help of Lin Xian, she would finally succeed. "That's great. Young Master Lin, thank you so much." Lin Xian smiled. "I only helped a little. The real control is still your work. It's all thanks to the two of us." Xiao Shiyu smiled beautifully. "Greetings, Master." The black fire demonic ape's voice rang out like thunder. When the people of the Shao clan heard this, they were all stunned. Oh my heavens, a demonic beast had been subdued. And it was a black fire demonic ape. It couldn't be, right? Wasn't that brought back by Xiao Shiyu 3 years ago? It was extremely terrifying and violent. Perhaps even the elders might not be able to subdue it. This Xiao Shiyu actually succeeded. Countless cries of alarm sounded. The young disciples were shaken, not daring to believe this. Xiao Yunshu was also surprised when she heard the news. Sister Shiyu has already become so powerful? Although they were both pearls, it was obvious that she was far behind. The elders of the Shao clan were even more shocked. They soared into the sky and flew towards the back of the mountain. "Drizzle, did you really succeed?" When the elders saw the scene below, they were pleasantly surprised. Xiao Shiyu raised her head and looked over. She then greeted, "Greetings, elders." He had indeed succeeded. Hearing this, the elders raised their heads and laughed. "Good, this is really too good. Our Shao clan's #1 genius is indeed unparalleled." These people were very happy. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked over. He had a tiger's gait and a dragon's aura. He nodded slightly. "Indeed not bad. With your current cultivation, you were able to subdue the black fire demonic ape. This is really out of my expectations. It seems like you are not far from becoming a two-spirit beast tamer Saint Master. Thank you for your praise, uncle. This time, I was just lucky, Xiao Shiyu said calmly. The middle-aged man said, No, you are the #1 genius of the Xiao clan. You do have a chance to become a two-spirit beast tamer Saint Master. Beast tamers were also divided into many levels. Xiao Shiyu was a one-spirit beast tamer Saint Master. Although it was only one spirit, her status was already extremely terrifying. One must know that she was a Saint Master. She was only from the younger generation, and there were very few in the younger generation who could obtain this status. Even Xiao Yinshu did not have this qualification. Hence, Xiao Shiyu was undoubtedly the #1 genius of the Xiao clan. At this moment, the middle-aged man said. Although that was the case. However, there were many experts and geniuses in Shanghai City. For example, Qing Chun from the Qing clan. He was the #1 genius of the Qing clan. Currently, he was already a two-spirit beast tamer Saint Master. It was not easy to defeat him. If you can walk together with him, you will have an incomparable advantage in the upcoming Shanghai Beast Fighting competition. You have to think about it carefully. Hearing these words, Xiao Shiyu's face immediately sank. The joy that she had obtained was gone. She said coldly, The Shanghai Beast Fighting competition was carried out by the clan. I am not from the same clan as him. Do you want me to be his disciple? Or do you want him to be my disciple? The middle-aged man laughed. Xiao Shiyu, you have to be more open-minded. Apart from being his disciple, are there no other possibilities? If you can marry him, then you will be a member of the Qing clan. At that time, the two of you can naturally fight together. I have said this before. Don't mention it anymore. Don't you remember? Xiao Shiyu suddenly raised her head and shouted coldly. You are too young and do not know. I am doing this for your own good. This Qing Chen is the #1 genius of the Qing clan. He is also the son of the head of the Qing clan. In the future, he will be able to control the entire Qing clan. He is the most dazzling genius of Shanghai City. Countless girls from the big clans want to marry him. If you can marry him, then it will be your honor. Now that you have a chance, how can you not cherish it? Xiao Shiyu laughed coldly. Oh, such an honor. Uncle is willing to give it to me? Uncle, you have a daughter too, right? Why don't you let your daughter accept this supreme honor? The middle-aged man's face sank. Xiao Shiyu, is this the attitude you should have when speaking to your elders? Xiao Shiyu said. Are you treating me as your junior? Is there anyone who would push a junior into a fire pit? Although Qing Chen is talented, don't you know what kind of person he is? How many heavenly beauties had been harmed by him? You actually want me to marry such a person? If you are not trying to kill me, what are you trying to do? You don't even treat me as a junior of the Xiao clan. Why should I treat you as my senior? If you want to work together with the Qing clan, then marry your daughter over. Don't have any ideas about me. A cold voice sounded, infuriating the middle-aged man. His face turned cold, and the people around him looked awkward. Lin Xian squinted his eyes. He did not expect Xiao Shiyu to have such a problem. It seemed like the Xiao clan and the Qing clan were going to work together. However, one person had to marry, and this person was Xiao Shiyu. Chapter 4572. Alright, all of you shut up. It's not appropriate to make a ruckus here. An old voice could be heard. A white crane descended from the sky with an old man on its back. The old man sat cross-legged. His eyes shone with a powerful soul. This person was terrifying. Lin Xian was shocked. The people around also exclaimed, Greetings, Third Elder. Xiao Shiyu also said, Third Elder, it's not that I don't want to follow the rules, but some people are too much. The Third Elder sighed. The Green Clan's power in Shanghai City has always been stronger than the Xiao Clan. Don't forget. They are working with the 1,000 Transformations Gate. For the past 1,000 years, they have been providing beasts to the 1,000 Transformations Gate. The relationship between the two is extraordinary. Now that they have made such a request, we can only agree. If we resist, they might anger the Green Clan. If they want to take action, the Xiao Clan will not be able to resist. Xiao Shiyu said coldly. So you chose me? Have you asked for my opinion? The third elder sighed. He said, as a member of the Xiao clan, you have to think for the clan sometimes. However, we will give you a chance. If you can get into the top 10 in the Mountain Sea battles, we will not force you. Alright, since third elder said so, it's a deal. Just you wait, I will get into the top 10. Shiyu, you are too naive. Although you are the top genius of the Xiao clan, there are many beast tamers in the Mountain Sea battles. However, there were many beast tamers participating in the Mountain Sea beast fights. Not only were there geniuses, but there were also other experts. It is basically impossible for you to get into the top 10. Uncle, you don't have to worry about me. Xiao Shiyu said coldly. I want to see how you can get into the top 10. The middle-aged man sneered and turned to leave. The third elder looked at Xiao Shiyu and sighed. He said, you can bring helpers for the Mountain Sea battles. What kind of beast tamer do you need? I will use the clan's power to help you find one. You will be satisfied. They naturally hoped that Xiao Shiyu would shine in the Mountain Sea battles. That would be good for the Xiao clan. Xiao Shiyu said, I have my own way. Thank you, third elder, for your concern. The old man sighed again and shook his head. Then he left. Although she wanted to help Xiao Shiyu, no matter how hard she tried, it would be extremely difficult for her to get into the top 10. If it was the next time, perhaps Xiao Shiyu would have a chance. But this time it was too difficult. It was impossible. The Green Clan would not give Xiao Shiyu another chance. The elders had all left, and the back mountain was quiet again. Xiao Shiyu's face was cold, and she was clenching her teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. Detestable, this was really too detestable. Were these people suppressing her like this? First they suppressed her mother, and now they're suppressing her. However, she was unwilling to give up. She had to get into the top 10. That way, the Mountain Sea Palace would take a liking to her. At that time, she could join the Mountain Sea Palace. Even the Xiao clan and the Green clan didn't dare to order him around. At this moment, Lin Xian walked up and said, Don't worry, I'll help you enter the top 10. Thank you. Xiao Shiyu was extremely grateful. You don't have to thank me. Lin Xian shook his head. Then he said in his heart, If you want to thank someone, thank your father. Young Master Lin, I'm very grateful to you. However, it's too difficult to get into the top 10. Even I don't have much confidence. Lin Xian said, How would you know if you don't try? Fate is in your own hands, and it doesn't belong to anyone else. Xiao Shiyu's body trembled. To be honest, she didn't have much confidence. However, looking at Lin Xian's confident gaze, she felt her soul tremble. What kind of strength and confidence was this? What had this young man experienced in the past? Taking a deep breath, Xiao Shiyu also said, All right, whether I succeed or not, I'll do my best. I won't let myself regret it. That's right, this is the #1 genius of the Xiao clan. Lin Xian smiled. Then he asked, All right, what's the Green clan? Is the 1,000 Transformations sect powerful? There are many big clans in Shanghai City, and they are considered the top clans. Their strength and foundation are much stronger than the Xiao clan. As for the 1,000 Transformations sect, it's not in Shanghai City. It's a sect nearby, and its strength is terrifying. For the past 1,000 years, all the beasts in the 1,000 Transformations sect were taken care of by the Green clan. Hence, the Green clan has a special position in Shanghai City. Not only the Green clan, but the other clans and sects also had connections. For example, the Xiao clan was in charge of managing the beasts for a sect. After knowing the situation, Lin Xian nodded. He said, Don't worry, I'll help you to the best of my ability. Next, the two of them started to train together. Xiao Shiyu had already decided to let Lin Xian be her helper. They would participate in the Mountain Sea Beast battles together. A month later, Xiao Shiyu was elated. During this month, their teamwork was getting better and better. One must know that she was using the Phantom Sound Song. Normal people would have to dodge it carefully before they could coordinate with her. But as soon as Lin Xian came up, he was able to merge perfectly with the hallucinatory melody, which surprised her. Naturally, she didn't know that Lin Xian had already cultivated the Phantom Sound Song in advance, which was why he could do it so easily. On this day, Xiao Shiyu found Lin Xian and told him her thoughts. She was going to go out and suppress another beast and bring it back to control it. Of course, her target should be similar to the black fire demon ape. It might even be stronger. After all, he also wanted to break through to become a two-spirit beast tamer Saint Master. This way he would have a greater chance. Lin Xian nodded and asked, "Are we still going to the 100,000 mountains?" Xiao Shiyu said, "No, I've already been targeted by the ice fire swan. The moment I enter, he will be able to sense our aura. So this time we're going to the sea." Shanghai City relied not only on the 100,000 mountains, but also on the endless sea. There were even more beasts in the sea. This time it was their destination. Lin Xian and Xiao Shiyu left the mansion and prepared to set off. When they came outside, they saw two figures. It was Xiao Yinshu and Mr. Xiao Yao. At this moment, Mr. Xiao Yao was following beside Xiao Yinshu. He was very proud. It seemed like he had also become Xiao Yinshu's assistant. "Sister Shiyu," Xiao Yinshu saw Xiao Shiyu and ran over happily. However, when she saw Lin Xian, she was surprised. "Why are you still here?" In her opinion, this guy wasn't too strong and definitely wouldn't be valued. She didn't expect him to be able to stay by Xiao Shiyu's side. Naturally, young Mr. Xiao Yao caught sight of this as well. Instantly, his heart was going crazy. Xiao Shiyu was an existence that even he looked up to. He didn't even dare to think about it. He didn't expect this despicable kid to stay by her side. "Sister Yinshu," Xiao Shiyu also walked up. Lin Xian glanced at him and directly ignored him. "You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."